Mr. Whiffen, I'd like to ask you a couple of general questions.
Yes.
You mentioned with reference to location data that the scope of identifying a location of a phone can change depending on what information the phone is receiving.
I'm sorry.
Yep, I'll try again. You've shown us a number of graphs and exhibits that show different circles. Some might be smaller, some might be larger than others.
Yes.
And you shared with us that location information is being received from a number of different sources.
God, we're still not done with this guy.
Can you remind us again?
I hate this witness.
That location data as far as receiving some high accuracy, mid and low level. What could affect the receipt of that information?
So primarily the requesting application defines how accurate it needs the data. iOS location services then determines the best technology to use in order to work out that location. And it can use GPS information for the most accurate. It can use Wi-Fi cell sighting. So it understands the Wi-Fi networks that it can detect close by, and it knows where those networks are. And from that, it can derive where it itself is. Similar idea with both Bluetooth beacons and with cell tower technology. It understands where the cell towers are. It understands where the Bluetooth beacons are. And if it can see those particular cell towers or beacons, it knows roughly where itself must be.
You share with us there are some factors that can affect that location data?
Yes.
In addition to being in a building, like a house or a business, that's one way it can be affected?
It is.
And there are other ways as well, isn't there?
There are.
And could you share again the other ways that location information could change?
Yeah, the weather can play an effect on it. The geography of the area, whether it's in a rural or urban environment, other kinds of interference. If there are other items close by that are emitting electrical interference, it could affect the location data as well.
How about a body?
Oh, what now? Did I freeze?
Being on the phone, could that affect?
Is it me? It's not me, it's them.
Objection, Your Honor.
I would act it differently.
If a human being was covering the phone so it wasn't exposed to the air, could that affect the location data? Objection, Your Honor.
I'm going to allow it.
I believe it could, yes.
You were shown Exhibit 40. It was one select piece of your report. It was a graph. With the court's permission, I'd like to show Exhibit 40.
Yes.
Exhibit 40 has two circles, one darker, one white.
Yes.
And do you remember being asked questions about this particular exhibit?
Did.
And in addition to this exhibit, is there other information in your report that wasn't shown to you that would put this in context?
There is.
This exhibit is to demonstrate a window of when location data was taken for a particular time. Objection, Your Honor.
Watch the form of the question, Mr.
This photograph, what does it represent?
Make sure you get to the bingo link.
Time periods,
it is pinned to the top of the chat.
Approximately 5 seconds, where multiple records showed identical latitude and longitude. So the same center point of the radius, but the radius themselves differed. So in this case, the white circle or the white circles show the lowest accuracy and the highest accuracy for 5 records that were all within a 5-second time period. And that shared the same latitude, longitude as the central point.
Looking at this snapshot of 5 seconds, is this still consistent with your opinion that to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty, you opine that the cell phone was in the flagpole area the entire evening of January 29th, 2022? Objection, Your Honor.
I'm going to allow it.
Yes, it still aligns with my opinion.
When you provide a report with all the different graphs and explanations, do you expect it's going to be shared with the defense attorneys?
Of course.
And you understand in this case, everything is shared?
Of course.
And when you shared your report with this piece of information, did you include a summary chart that wasn't shown to you on examination?
I believe I did, yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
Make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe on your way in and let people know that we're doing this, because I didn't let anybody know. I just decided to do it.
And what page are you on?
22.
Did Do you recognize anything in particular as far as a chart on that page?
I do. There's a chart at the top with the location data that was used to create the image shown.
Does that chart help explain this photograph?
It does.
I'd move that chart into evidence.
Any objection, Mr. Alessi?
No objection, Your Honor.
Oh, Brad just sent me a great new button. Oh my God. I'm going to download it right now before I forget. How do I do this again? I may need Brad back here. I'm glad Brad's here today, by the way. IT Goatee Brad. He's the best. You're muted.
With the court's permission, I'd like Ms. Gilman to show us the chart.
Yes.
I love the new button. I'm downloading it right now. Chat.
How long
We're
of a
going to see a
time
new
period
chat,
does that
everybody. It's
photograph,
shots. I forgot to put
encompass?
shots on the bingo card.
The photograph has got 2 time periods of 5 seconds each, which are approximately 40 minutes apart.
And what does this show us? Can you explain the chart that goes along with that
Yeah.
photograph that was shown to you?
So this chart is, or I should say, the map shows 5 of the records from this particular chart. But we can see that all of these records have a consecutive timestamp 1 second apart. The latitude and longitude is identical for all of these records, but at the same time, the accuracy drops from 43 meters to 7 meters within the same 8-second time period. The idea was to demonstrate that if you had one of these records on its own, if you only had the 43-meter accurate record, for example, then the phone could be anywhere within that 43-meter radius. But as time goes on, the accuracy is refined. The
Nope.
same central point
Flux
is,
sighting. Everybody
is
can
used
mark
by
off
iOS, but we've
flux
now got
sighting
an
on your
accuracy
bingo
of 7
card.
meters. And again, if we were to say that the phone is anywhere within that 7 meters, it's a much more accurate representation, according to the data, than the 43 meters would be. And with an 8-second time period, if the device was actually moving during that time, I wouldn't expect to see the latitude and longitude remain exactly the same. There'd be some degree of movement in the coordinates.
When you're producing location information in the circles that represent the location change, small, medium, large, at different times, does this chalk help represent that there can be changes in the location data, but the item can remain dormant?
So ask that differently, Mr. Brennan.
What is the exact point of the demonstration or this chalk? How does that help us understand the movement or the lack of movement of a cell phone?
So I believe it demonstrates the fact that the phone is constantly refining the location data or the accuracy of the location data, even though it's using the same central point, the latitude and longitude, as the reference point. It doesn't necessarily mean the device had to move.
If I could go back to Exhibit 40, please. So looking at your photograph that you were asked about, there are 2 different circles, one dark and one light,
Yes,
and those circles are in different spots.
yes.
Based on the chalk or the chart you just showed us, are both of those different color circles consistent with a phone being in the same spot and not moving?
The previous chart that was shown only accounts for the white circles on this map. And it only shows the highest and the lowest accuracy. 20 minutes later, there was another similar scenario where there were multiple records with the same central GPS coordinates, but with different accuracy levels. And that's what was used for the black circles. Importantly, in my opinion, they all overlap. So
I heard it.
The device is somewhere in between those 2
Yeah, but it's on
circles for the
voice
duration
mod.
of the time.
Now, finally, I want to turn
Trying to
back to
move
the
it.
phone that was attributed to Jennifer McCabe.
It's not
And you had
showing
shared
up
with
for
us
some
your
reason.
opinions about the time in which the searches at 6:23 and 6:24 were made.
Correct.
And I asked if you could just show us live right now how it works that a person can open a tab and there's a timestamp, a time when it's open, and then make a later search but still retain the original timestamp.
Yes,
Is that something you can do for us?
it is, yeah.
With the court's permission, I'd ask Mr. Whiffen to give
Yes.
us a live demonstration of
Okay.
this.
Do you
Thank
want
you.
the light off, Mr. Whitman?
The light off would be better, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dave.
Okay, first of all, I will highlight on the left side of the screen here, this is actually a live representation of what I have on a phone that's in front of me. So as I move this around, you can actually see on the screen that the screen refreshes.
That is
I'll
slow
also
as
point
crap.
out the iOS version here is 15.2.1, which matches that from Jennifer McCabe's phone. On the right side of the screen is the tool which I spoke about earlier, the one that I've been writing for several years. I make it available for free for any examiner who wants to download it and research primarily iOS devices. Here, you can see I've got a live connection to the device. So every file and folder that is on the device, I can see within this directory view as you would normally see on a regular computer. And we can see the browserstate.db database. If I open that database up, you can see there are 4 tables,
Right, I did it.
one of which is
Trooper
called tabs.
Proctor.
I
Mr.
can,
Whiffen, I hate to interrupt you. Can we make this larger? I know jurors earlier were hoping
I
that
can
Oh,
try to.
wait.
have a larger view of what's up there.
Is she saying she wants to get out of here? Because that's on the bingo card. No, she just wants something made larger. That's what she said.
That's what she said.
It shouldn't. I should be able to work around it. Thank you.
Is that better for the jurors?
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
It's just a little closer.
Oh.
So we can hear you in the back.
Let me pull forward.
Thank you.
Turn the
We are
air
streaming on Rumble right now. Welcome, all you Rumblers. And
So
also
at this moment in
YouTube.
time, the tabs table has 2 records.
Yep.
I'm just going to ask you to ignore
SQLite
those for now.
file.
They're from a previous demonstration. I can't delete those without taking longer to do this demonstration. If I go back onto the phone itself,
Oh, damn it.
just takes a second to refresh and open up Safari. And I can open up a new tab. What I will just do now is search for the time that we're
Pass
on
along
now,
to die in
so
snow.
14:10, and hit go.
Hose long to
So
die
right
in
now,
snow
that
is
page
what
is
I
loaded.
call it.
Hose long.
Sure.
Hose long.
And I can go back into the database and just hit reload. That will bring the most recent version of the database from the device back onto my computer and show it back in this window in exactly the same way as I was viewing it a second ago. And you can see right now there's still only 2 records. So the fact that I did a new tab and a new search has had no effect on what I can see. This is different to on previous versions of iOS, where you would already now see a new record with the 1410 search, which I'd made. I'm then going to do another search. Hopefully it's going to catch up with me. It's now 1411, so I'll do a search for 1411. Okay, we can see the page is loaded, and I can go back over to this tool and reload the database. We still don't have a new record that shows that a search is being conducted. I'll just
Did he
take
conduct the
time to do
search or did he
another
just
little
type
search.
it
Just do
bar?
1411X,
Oh, there we go.
reload the page again. Still, nothing's appeared. I can even close down Safari, just minimize it into the background, and then bring it back into the foreground by just pressing the Safari icon. I can hit reload again.
PJ, I
We
feel
still don't
this.
have a new record. And I can do a further search for now 1412. 1412 is loaded, and I can reload the page. Still no records present. I can now go into Safari and just close the tab. So now that tab is closed, and I can just prove that. So that tab is now closed. And I can go back over here and reload. And you'll see a new record has appeared. I'm just going to change the time zone just so that this shows accurately, and tell my tool to treat the timestamps as Eastern time. So we look at this particular record. You can see the title is 1412. That's the last item that I searched for. You can see the URL is the google.ca /search 1412. Again, that is the content that I searched for. And then we see this field here, the last viewed timestamp. And the time here still says 1410 because that's the time that I first loaded the tab. The fact that I navigated between, the fact that I minimized and reopened Safari bears no relevance to this timestamp. It is purely the timestamp that tab was created or brought back into focus.
Then that's a bad timestamp.
To an untrained
Sounds like a
eye,
bug.
can
You think that the
development of a
timestamp is
become
accurate?
confusing?
Yes,
Wait, we might as well pause this because I don't know what's going on. Explain it to me, Brad, because I don't get it. Or Flux, whoever gets what's going
Yeah.
on here. I don't.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it's really weird. So what he's doing is he's accessing the files directly on the phone inside of a database file,
Mhm.
and it's saying the last view time is when the tab was created, but then that would be a improper column heading because it should be created time, not last viewed time.
Not
because
it says last viewed.
yeah, but last
Uh-huh.
viewed would be what it is representative of in his example is last created time, not last viewed time. Because if you minimize the application and bring
Who
it
made
back,
this? Who made this?
the
chart?
SQL file, this would it's not a chart. This is reading the file directly from it. So this would be
So
as
he's just
known-
making shit up, basically.
no. He's not making shit up. This is Apple's poor
See, I can't figure it
programming.
out. I'm only medium smart, especially when it comes to this kind of stuff. And this is why I wish this guy would hurry up and finish. But now that we're behind a little, we can speed him up. Yes, Flux?
And as somebody like, us regular lay people, jury, he lost the jury because I'm sitting here like,
Yeah, he lost me a long time ago.
so it doesn't matter what time you search, the first timestamp is accurate because no matter how, like, what?
Not to
No.
mention that I tried to do this on my phone last night. I was like trying to recreate what he says happens. It didn't happen. I have a history log of every time I logged onto a website and it tells me exactly what time I did it. And I couldn't get it to it didn't tell me something that I did at 11:50 showed up again at 6 a.m. or whatever. It doesn't do that. So I don't know what he's talking about. And I don't think anybody else does either.
the name last viewed time clearly has implications that would make you believe that it was the time that the page was last viewed. It's a very simple test, as I just demonstrated, to prove that that's not the case.
Is there any other reason that Celebrite removed that process of timestamp other than to clarify that issue?
No, I'll allow it.
Purely because we
She
determined
allows
it was
everything.
unreliable to use as a time
Unless it's the
that the
defense.
page was last viewed.
Right.
If an examiner simply made a report from Axiom or Celebrite or another software, but didn't have the time or skill to actually go into the data, could they be easily confused by this?
Yes, the way that Celebrite provided this information showed as last viewed timestamp. The way that Axiom provides this data is called last interaction time. So there is some leeway there to misunderstand it less from Axiom because it's talking about tab interaction rather than a web page that was last viewed.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, thank you. The lights on, please. Mr. Lessie,
Briefly, Your Honor, if I may.
Oh, and the lights were off. The jury's for sure
you
sleeping.
want Mr. Whiffen to take this
Oh,
down?
100%.
Yes, please, Your Honor.
100% they were sleeping.
Good afternoon, and hello again, Mr. Whiffen.
Good afternoon.
Is this
Oh, he doesn't
Alessi?
look happy, huh?
Mhm.
Alessi gets on my
Magnet
nerves.
Forensics Axiom still shows a 2:27:40 a.m. timestamp on its forensic tool, correct?
Correct.
And Magnet Forensic is a reliable forensic tool company, correct?
As reliable as they come, yes.
The demonstration that you just performed, when did you create it?
The demonstration?
What you just,
Like literally just now as I was doing it live.
so you
Is that
just
what you mean?
created the demonstration now live on the stand?
That particular demonstration, yes.
So that demonstration, therefore, was created after Celebrite removed the 2:27:40 timestamp from all of its tool programs, correct?
No, incorrect. I mean, that demonstration I just provided was right now, it was live. Initially, when I did these tests, I did the same kind of experiment, the same type of testing back in late 2023, I believe.
Watching my hair dry
and after
is
I
more
did those tests
is more
and used that
entertaining than
research,
this.
that is when Cellbrite removed the timestamp.
Maybe my question wasn't clear. Let
Yes.
me see if I could rephrase it. The demonstration that you just gave, when did you prepare it? The demonstration, not just the demonstration that you just showed on the screen. When did you create that demonstration on your computer?
Hey, again, I've been doing this demonstration for 2 years.
My question, again, is the demonstration you just gave.
Yes.
When was the last time you altered that demonstration?
Other than to use different search terms, it's the same demonstration.
I'll try to differ.
Yes, please.
When was the last time you altered in any way the demonstration you just gave?
Right now.
So you altered it right now, and that alteration was made after Cellbrite had removed the 2:27:40 a.m. timestamp from its programs, correct?
Yes. Okay.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
So look at you, all set. So
Thank you.
very much.
May we be seen why Mr. Whiffen is collecting his items?
Joyce, feel free.
All right, who's the next one? Who's coming up? Is it going to be Jen McCabe? Because that's what I'm counting on. How's the poll going? Am I going to have to change the thumbnail?
You might have to.
I know, because we don't really know who's. I just heard it might be Jen McCabe, and I got all excited.
Yeah, I heard she was this afternoon, so I'm like,
Oh boy, I hope so. I hope so
it's gonna
because
get crazy.
she is entertaining on the stand. At the very
She is
least,
Something.
she
Getting
is.
Jenny J up there.
And of course, there's going to be lots of Trupa Procta.
Trupa Procta.
Trupa Procta.
Former trooper.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true because he was fired. If you guys are just joining us, this is the Karen Reed
Ex-trooper.
case. She has been accused of killing her boyfriend. Oh, we are at 50-50 on whether Jen McCabe will be next, by the way. The chat is split 50-50. If you have not gotten the bingo card is pinned to the top of the chat. We do have lots
Holy crap, look at that nose job.
Brad's already citing bad plastic surgery in the audience, which we do not have on the card, unfortunately, but we do have Jen. We have Bev says, move on. Alessi yells, Bev sigh, Trupa Procta, it was snowing. I hit him. Saiba, Chloe, Bev hates AJ, stolen glass, red solo cups. Bev wants out early, Turtle Boy sighting, Sirens, Flux sighting, which we've already checked off. Brennan defames Karen, Alessi pisses me off, Megan changes her laundry, screams in Boston, close up of Karen, Brennan snarks, Bev yells at defense, and Bev coddles Brennan. Okay, so that you can... Oh, here we go. What's happening now? People are shifting. Do we have a Turtle Boy sighting? Where is he? He's usually up here. I didn't see him.
He couldn't be there if Jen's testifying. I'm pretty sure as soon as she's testifying, he has to leave.
Why
right?
does he have to leave? Because of the witness intimidation nonsense?
I'm pretty sure he's not allowed to be in the courtroom when she's testifying. I think. Somebody correct me.
Renee's Retro Relic says, I watched this whole trial with Jeff last year, so it feels right being here with you guys. Yeah, Flux and I were just texting earlier today about how much we miss Jeff and how much fun we would be having with Jeff on this trial. And so I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just stream it. Let's do it. And I don't know if I'll be able to do it every day, but I certainly want to with these specific witnesses that I'm really interested in. So far, it looks like we've gotten past all of the technical stuff. Hopefully, because that is the worst part for me. I have a very hard time getting through the technical expert witness people. We can mark off Saiba.
Kat
Yes,
says I'm right. So if he's not there, it's probably a good indication that she's
the Jen's coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. My thumbnail might be correct.
But that means we don't get sighting.
That's true. That means that there won't be a Turtle Boy sighting, or we could have had one earlier, but I was only doing the afternoon today. So don't see him up on the media panel. I don't see him. Why am I
would-
looking so wet today? Because I just got out of the shower and we're watching my hair air dry. So it's probably not
Is-
going to be a great hair day. I need to diffuse for it to be a good hair day.
Is there a hair apocalypse going on in Boston right now? How many domes are there in this frame? I see 4 guys who have no hair. Like,
Let's
what
see.
is going on?
Shall we point them out? We have this guy, that guy back there. Who else?
one
1, 2,
underneath
3.
your
There's a
panel
guy
there.
behind.
Oh, can I move this
behind
thing?
that.
How do I minimize this thing? There we go. Oh, and this guy. Look at that. Yeah, we got. Oh, and another
and
one right there. 1, 2. We got 5 baldies. We should have had that on the bingo card. Dang. Oh man. I like the drawing. The drawing is fun.
Gives
Alright,
it a
let's-
little extra.
Little extra, to be able to point people out. We got John's mother, who I really don't understand. I mean, she's a sympathetic character, and like listening to her on the stand was heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. But how, if I'm the mother, if it's my son, and I hear all of this other stuff about, the fighting at the bar and all the weirdness, and I see his arm and it clearly looks like dog bites. I am not going to be thinking, oh, it's that woman. I'm going to be like, which one of you got into a fist fight with my son and doesn't want to tell?
Yeah.
All right. Are we going to get close up of Karen Reed? Because that's on the bingo card too. Do we get a close up of Karen Reed? Oh, look, we're pulling in. We're pulling in. Oh, darn it. There goes the camera.
Jennifer McCabe, I heard it.
Jennifer McCabe. Yes. I bet right.
And we should
I
get a
bet,
bingo
right.
just for getting Jen.
I know. Oh my God. Okay. I should have put Jen McCabe's teeth on the bingo card. Teeth.
See,
That's all I can think of when I see her.
When I was looking through the old messages, I was looking through when Jeff and I were talking about her. He was very disturbed by her eyes.
I'm disturbed by her teeth, but her eyes are strange too.
That you pulled the
Oh.
microphone close.
Oh,
She went to the tanning.
tan.
She went to the
you,
tanning
Your Honor.
salon.
Good afternoon.
She looks
Good
a lot
afternoon.
better,
Could you
but
please
her
introduce
eyes are
yourself to
still
the jury?
scary.
Her
Hi,
teeth
I'm
are still
Jennifer
crooked.
McCabe, MCCABE.
She's got that
Ms.
underbite.
McCabe, how old are you?
Oh, never
I'm
mind.
49
She's
years old.
terrifying.
Are you
She's
married?
terrifying.
Yes, I am married with 4 daughters.
Without detailing your children's names, can you tell us a little bit about your family?
Sure, I have 4 daughters that are 16, 17, 19, and 21. 2 are in high school and 2 are in college.
In raising your children, was your family active in local sports?
Yes, all 4 of my daughters played multiple sports from when they were young.
No.
2 now are playing in college. My husband and I both coached.
Brad, cue up another
them.
one just in case.
My husband coached them from when they were young up through 8th grade in soccer, and I coached them in basketball.
Soccer.
Without telling me your address, what town are you from?
I'm from Canton.
How long have you lived in Canton with your family for?
I was born and raised in Canton, and
You
now
bet.
I'm raising my family there.
So your family, their whole life, you've raised them in
Multiple
Canton?
spots.
1
That's right.
year
Lots of
we
spots.
lived in Stoughton with my daughter.
Who do you live with now?
I live with my husband and my 4 daughters.
Can you briefly give me a little bit
4
more
daughters live at
background
home
on
still?
your children's
I guess.
school and your participation in that and interaction with your children, raising them?
Yeah, so I was a teacher, and then once I had children, I stayed at home with them and basically was just kind of like your typical, I don't know, small town mom. I
Here
was
we
the
go.
room parent. I
There's nothing
coached
small town
them.
about you, honey.
I'm your typical
Oh,
small
That's
town
right.
mom.
Yes.
When I coached, I drove the kids back and forth on my team, would take them places, etc.
What's
In
the population of Canton?
Growth of your family and raising your children, did you meet
It's
a gentleman by the name of
Massachusetts.
John?
24,000
Yes.
people is not a small
Share with
town.
us meeting John O'Keefe.
Sure. When my 3rd
isn't it
daughter
on
was
the
in
map?
kindergarten,
It's like
she became
just
friends with
outside of
John's
Boston.
niece. And
It's not a
during
small
that
town.
kindergarten school year, unfortunately, Kaylee's mother and father both passed away, and John moved in the house and became Mr. Mom.
When John took
Mr.
over
Mom,
guardianship of
okay.
the children, did you assist in an active role in helping him?
Yes. Kaylee and my daughter were very close. So she would come over and play. My daughter would go over there. Kaylee would come and have sleepovers. A lot of times it would be on Friday nights. I would have Kaylee, and then another individual would have Patrick.
Had you known John O'Keefe
Rosalind's
well
here.
before he took
Rosalind
over
Duke.
guardianship of the children?
Hey, she's here.
No.
Sorry, I didn't see it.
During
You were
the time
below
when
the
he was
in the green
guardian
room.
of
You
the
were too
children,
far
did your
down.
relationship, not just with his niece and nephew, but with him grow any
Hi,
closer?
Roz.
Yes, we
What?
became very good
Hi,
friends.
How close of friends did you become over the years?
Well, throughout the years, obviously, when they were younger, we talked more, just about the logistics of CCD, pickup, drop off, basketball, sports. But then
It's a
he would
nice
also
tan.
call me, about, as the girls got older, the girl drama or, the hormones and things like that.
Oh Christ, that's
He would also
embarrassing.
come over,
Don't talk about your children's
and hang
hormones
out
on the
and have a
stand.
beer and just talk about whatever was new in his life or going on, or just the day in and day out struggles of his life, and raising the kids now and figuring it all out with work and family and all of that.
Leading into January 28th of 2022, so the jury understands, how close is your friendship with John O'Keefe at that time?
He was a very good friend of mine that I knew I could call for anything.
I want you to take us forward to January 28th, 2022.
Oh, I should have put
Do you
crying
remember
on the
that day?
bingo card.
Yes, I do.
Do you remember it well?
Yes.
Take us to the early morning hours, January 28th, 2022. Did you learn there may be weather or a storm coming?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
We all saw the report that there was going to be a big storm, a nor'easter. So we all knew that basically all the Saturday activities were going to be canceled.
That includes sports?
Yes.
Was and is the sporting events for the children a big part of your life?
Yes. Back then I had, two in high school that played 3 sports, and they played club sports as well. And then the 2 middle school played club sports and town sports. So most of our weekends were taken up by kind of running from one sporting event to the next.
When you learned about the weather and the changing schedule, did it change your plans for that day?
No, not particularly. I had my day was pretty set out. I had my niece, and then I had sporting events. It was kind of my plans for the next day that obviously got changed.
Take us through the afternoon of the 28th. What's happening?
Well, I had my niece for the week, and she was picked up. My oldest was on the hockey team, and she was having a team dinner at the house. So I picked up pizza, got desserts, set it up for them. And then I left with my daughters and my husband, Matt, and we met some of the parents from the high school basketball team at a local pub to grab a bite and a drink before the basketball game, because my other daughter played on the high school girls basketball team.
Who goes
What
to the
time
pub?
was the
It's
basketball
bar.
game set for that night?
I believe it was 6 or 6:30.
Did you and your family go to the game?
Yes, we did.
After the game, what happened?
After the game, I drove my daughter home. My sister, Nicole, sent me a text and said that she was going to be at the waterfall, and it was my nephew's birthday. He was going to meet up, and did I want to come by for a drink?
What is your nephew's name?
Brian Jr.
It was his birthday that night?
Yes, it was.
When you received a call to meet with friends and family at the waterfall, do you remember what time that plan was made?
I don't. My sister sent me a text at some point letting me know she was going to be there. So I don't know a time.
After the game and after some time, did you go to the waterfall to meet your friends and family?
Yes, I did.
Describe very briefly, what's the waterfall?
It's just a local town bar.
Do you remember about what time you got to the waterfall?
About 9:00.
When you got there, was there anybody there that you knew?
Yes.
Okay, now take us inside the waterfall. When you get there, who do you see?
I walk in and I see
Is there
Julie
a
and
bingo
Chris
card?
Albert, my niece Caitlin, my sister, Nicole, and my niece's boyfriend, Tristan.
You said you saw Julie and Nicole Albert in the waterfall?
Yes.
Were you related to either of them?
Nicole is my sister.
So Brian Sr. would be your brother-in-law?
Yes.
Also, you mentioned there was a niece.
Yes, Caitlin.
And is that Brian and Nicole's daughter?
Yes.
You mentioned the name Tristan. What's his relationship to your niece, to Brian Albert's niece?
He's now her fiance.
And was there anybody else I missed?
That's all who was there. I'm not sure if Nick Kolakidis was already in there when I got there, or if he arrived right after. And then his wife joined us.
So when you're in the bar and you see your friends, what do you do next?
I immediately just, join them and sit down.
Were you eating, drinking?
I know I ordered a beer. They had appetizers on the table. I'm not sure whether I had any or not.
Were you drinking alcohol that night?
Yes.
As you're spending time with your
Megan, you're
family,
the hair
did the night
expert.
grow?
Did she just get her hair
Yes.
done yesterday?
Did you stay at the table? when
She
everybody was
absolutely
eating,
got
or
a
did you
blowout.
move inside the bar?
We were
Not to
pretty
be
much
confused
right
with the
around the
blow
table.
job.
Did anybody you knew join you or join the group?
Yeah,
at
that's a
some point?
fresh hairstyle.
Yes, a little while later, Brian Albert and Brian Higgins joined us at the waterfall.
So when you first got there, was Brian Albert already there?
No, he wasn't.
Is that your brother-in-law, Brian Albert?
Yes.
I hear
And you said
snoring.
Mr. Higgins. Did you know Mr.
Who's
Higgins?
Not
snoring?
me.
Is there an
I had
animal
met him a
snoring?
few times when he was out with Brian.
Is it
You had met him a few
is it the
times
ghost
before
of
that
Jeff's
night?
doggies?
Yes.
Were you
Oh,
friendly
gosh.
It's
with him?
Jeff. It's gotta be.
He was
I
a
had
friend of
Jeff.
Brian's.
Jeff
New
is
York.
snoring.
No, he was Brian's friend.
You knew who he
It's either
was?
that or
Yes.
somebody on the jury. You don't hear that?
So when Mr. Albert and Mr.
There's
Higgins
something.
joined the group later, did they come directly to you or did they stay somewhere else inside the bar?
You don't
No,
hear
they
that?
came over
It's
to our
like,
table, I believe.
How long were you in the waterfall?
it's like
for
deep
that night?
breathing.
Approximately
he's in your
9
earbuds.
to
It's the video
little
producer
around
already
midnight-ish.
About 3 hours?
Yes.
Do you have an estimate how many drinks you had, alcoholic drinks you might have had?
It could be bad.
I don't. I'm I don't know,
It's probably bad.
maybe 2, 3.
Throughout the night, were you feeling any effects of the alcohol?
Judge,
Not that I recall, no.
I did not have Judge
When
snore
the
on
group
the
was
bingo.
together, you mentioned a number of people have joined. Were you joined by other people later?
Yes.
Who were you joined by later?
John O'Keefe and Karen Reed.
And you talked about your relationship with John O'Keefe.
Yes, earlier, yes.
Did you make plans with him or did he just show up?
I believe he had started the conversation about the night with Chris Albert.
Chris Albert is a different Albert than Brian Albert.
Yes.
How was the relationship between them?
Brian Albert and Chris Albert are brothers.
Was Chris Albert there when Mr. Higgins and Brian Albert arrived?
Yes. Actually, Chris, did I miss him? Because Chris was there with Julie. Did I? I'm not sure if I said that when I was naming everyone at the table. I apologize.
You may have.
Okay.
So when you first got there, he was at the table with your
Yes.
sister.
Yes, he was.
When moments before John O'Keefe arrived with the defendant, what was the mood in the group?
Cheerful. Good mood. Everybody was just out having a drink. We all knew the storm was coming tomorrow, and just a typical average night.
Celebratory?
Yeah.
You said you were going to see Brian Albert Jr. for his
Yes.
birthday. Was Brian Albert Jr. at the waterfall when you got there?
No, he was not.
Was Brian Albert Jr. there anytime when you were at the waterfall?
No, he was not.
Without relating a conversation with some other person, did you have an understanding where Brian Albert Jr. was?
He was at home.
Did you historically or typically see Brian Albert Jr., your nephew, on his birthday?
Yeah, typically we always, get together. We try to and do a cake for whoever's birthday it is. And then whatever, aunts or cousins are around, come over.
When John O'Keefe arrived at the waterfall with the defendant, do you have a general estimate? or
Who
guess-
is
not
deep
guess, but
breathing
general
like that?
estimate of what time they arrived?
I heard it that
the
time.
judge.
That has to. It has to be the
Approximately
judge.
judge.
11.
She
When they first
signed.
arrived, did you see them?
Is that a Bev side? All right,
It
check
might
off
Might be
Bev's
above
side.
side.
I
I think
saw
she's
them walk in.
sleeping.
When they walked
Definitely
in,
smells like
did you
snoring
react
to
in
me.
any way?
Yes, I was happy to see them
Why were you happy to see them?
because I
Does she have
loved John and I
COPD?
liked Karen.
So you were happy to see John?
Yes, very.
And you were happy to see the defendant?
Yes.
Do you remember your first interaction with either
liked
John
Karen.
or the defendant that
Interesting.
night inside the waterfall?
That was
I
past
believe
tense.
John walked over to where I was, kind of to my end of the table, and then maybe Karen had walked
Oh,
to
I
the other
forgot to
end of
give
the
the
table.
card to Rumble.
But I would assume I probably hugged both of them when I
Well,
saw them.
I'm going to ask you not to assume if you don't know. That's
Okay.
okay. You said that you had known the defendant as well.
Yes.
So is it spray
Do you
tan or a
remember
tanning
how
bed?
long she
Kinda
had been
looks like
dating
burnt,
John
like a
O'Keefe
tanning
up to
bed.
that
I
point?
think it looks like a tanning bed.
I know I met her
Yeah,
in
same.
July of 2020.
Had you had a chance to spend time or interact with her over that time before that night at the waterfall?
Yes, I had.
And share with us some of the moments or some of the reasons that you would interact.
The first time I met Karen, John had reached out. We would do pool days with him and his niece and his nephew. So he had told me he was dating a new girl and he wanted to bring her over. He said that she had multiple sclerosis. I also have multiple sclerosis. So he thought that that would be something we could, we would talk and bond over. I said, yeah, great, bring her over. So her and John and Kaylee and Patrick came over. We had a pool day. I liked Miss Reed immediately. I thought we hit it off. It was really great, talking to someone my age that also had MS, because I didn't really know a lot of people who have it.
They both have it. She has
So
it
it was
too?
really nice to have somebody to relate to.
That's news.
Then moving forward, we would see them, if it was my daughter's birthday party, when it was time for pickup, they would come in, have a couple drinks. Same thing for like a Halloween party, after basketball
She
games.
has this bulldog
spent
look.
time
The,
both
the
with
bottom of her
John and
mouth
Miss Reed?
goes down.
Yes.
Did you spend time with
Yeah,
her?
Sally
you
Smith
saw
had
the
that
over.
No.
Yeah, over inside a
Did
little
you become
bit.
friendly with her?
Yes.
And were you friendly that night?
Yes.
Sally Smith had the same thing, remember?
Mhm.
And I think it's because she has that underbite. It sticks out like this. It makes her mouth go down.
It
After
just makes people
John-
look angrier,
I know.
Right.
I think.
And the defendant entered the bar and you greet.
RBF to the
Did
max.
you interact or spend time with
Yeah,
Miss
it's
Reed
like a
at
max
the
case of
waterfall?
RBF.
Yes, I
when you have
did.
an underbite.
And speaking of the defendant, do you recognize her here in the courtroom?
Yes, I do.
Could you kindly point to her and describe an article of clothing she's wearing?
She's sitting right over there with a black shirt or a blue.
Is she between Attorney Jackson and Attorney Yannetti?
Yes, she is.
When you were at the waterfall that night, do you remember who you were speaking to or where you were spending your time?
As to earlier in the night or after?
I'm sorry, after Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant arrived.
Yes, Miss Reed came over and spoke to me because I had seen her the Saturday before, and she had told me how she had started a new medication, and it was giving her some awful side effects. And I said, I'm shocked they put you on that, etc.
Let me not ask you about conversations you
Okay.
had, but about the moment that you were in. Did you spend time with Miss Reed that night?
Yes, I did.
Inevitably, did you drink more alcohol as the night went on?
I believe I had, like I said earlier, a couple of drinks, 2, 3, not sure.
Did you
Lightning
ever have a
strike.
shot of alcohol?
I do not believe I had the shot, no.
Did you see the party, the group of friends and family doing a shot?
I was in the bathroom and walked out, and they were doing or had just done a shot.
With the court's permission, I'd like to display parts of Exhibit 22, which has already been introduced into evidence, which is video surveillance footage from the waterfall.
Okay.
I'd like to start at 10:54:20, please.
Did you hear that? Oh God,
Yeah, who was that?
Oh,
That's me.
was that the judge?
That was
Oh
me.
my
Stop for
God.
1 second.
Hold
Do you
on. Hold
recognize
on.
the-
Oh wait,
We're
that
going
was
back.
you, Roz.
Yes.
Was
Oh,
that
was
you?
Roz.
Okay, we thought it was the judge. That would have been
Is it not
hilarious.
video?
Well, there was a witness who went, "Kill me."
Oh no.
I think it
In
was
the
at the
last
last
one.
trial. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the witnesses was like, "Kill me." It was funny. All right, here we go.
It was
Waterfall
amazing.
footage.
Yes.
And what is that?
That is the waterfall.
Okay, kindly proceed.
We don't know. Was it
could
snowing?
stop.
Did anybody say if it was snowing
Do
or
you see
not?
the
I'm
two
still
people
confused on that
entering from the
issue.
left?
Not yet.
They haven't made
do.
it clear yet.
Do you know who they are?
I believe that
Why is it so
Miss Reed
fuzzy?
and John O'Keefe.
I've seen
Ms. Gilman,
better
is there any
footage
way
of
to
this.
enlarge the
Terrible.
top of the video?
They
where the
haven't
other
started
people
playing
are
it
closer
yet,
to
like
the table
freeze
or not?
frame.
No. Okay. Looking at this video, can you tell or identify anybody under that timestamp? And if you can't, that's okay.
You
but if
can't
can,
see
can you tell us
shit.
who you see?
It's all fuzzy.
I
Well, I mean,
think
think
the
of today's
guy
day
right
and age.
there, well, where she just was
Like,
is
security cams would
Brian
be better.
Higgins.
Okay. If you could go up a little bit, Ms. Gilman.
A lot of these places
I
look
believe that's my husband, Matt, and
On the
then
right?
on the right, and I think that's me.
That's
On
Jen.
the
I can tell
left.
by that jaw. I'd
Can
noticed
you-
that
she can go
jaw
down the
anywhere.
table to the
Jen.
left, Ms. Gilman?
Yeah, that chin.
You recognize who that might be from the
That
clothing?
Jen McCabe.
Looks like a
I'd have to
ghost.
take a guess that
Okay,
it
well,
could.
don't guess. It's
Okay.
okay if you don't. Anybody else at the table more to the left?
They don't
you
have a better
recognize?
screenshot than this?
Not from this picture.
My
Ms. Gilman,
God.
could you highlight where Miss McCabe thinks that she is on that video
This
with
is
that
terrible.
circle you just had, and play the video?
This is absolutely terrible.
Useless. Who
What are they
cares?
supposed to get from this?
I don't know.
just show that they're there.
Can you
I'll
play the
admit
video?
that.
Oh, this is the video. This is
You could
the
stop. Is that you clapping, Miss McCabe?
Yes, it is,
Why are you clapping?
because I was happy to see them.
Both of them.
Yes.
Could you continue, please?
she's clapping like a trained seal. Oh, look, Karen Reed came into the
Who's
bar.
that person walking right to left hugging
Have you
people?
ever clapped when you've seen one
That
of
is
your
John
friends?
O'Keefe.
I don't know. Maybe. It's possible.
Can you
That's
continue, please,
like a
Ms. Gilman?
girly move. That's like a girly move, I guess.
Like a, ooh.
Oops. I didn't mean to pause.
Okay, yeah.
Right. You know, like,
Mine's more of
yay.
a-
I mean, I probably have.
Yeah, okay, now that we're saying it, yeah, okay.
Or if the
Let's
guys-
just be honest.
Or if they're consistently late and they
Fair.
finally show up, you go, "Yay, they're finally here!"
That's a
True.
fair point.
True.
Are you interacting
Next
with
time I
anybody?
see you, Flux, I'm totally going to clap.
I can't see where I am.
Okay. If you could stop the video, please. Could you
Come
The
running
rest
up
of-
to you.
Yeah.
move ahead
I've seen better
to
videos of Bigfoot.
11:26:50, please?
I think Bigfoot might be in this
11:26:50.
We would never know.
That's
if
why
it
it's
was.
blurry.
Is that your
Mhm.
group still at the waterfall?
Could be that
Yes, it
silhouette on
is.
the left.
Yeah, it could be that right there. What is that blob right there? That could be it. Right
If you could stop there,
there.
Ms. Gilman. If we could hone in or circle where you were previously, where we saw Miss McCabe. I know it's a bit blurry.
A
If
bit.
you can, and if you can't, please let me know. Can you see whether you're in that area?
I believe I am, yes.
Could you put the circle down just a little
She's
bit,
right
Ms. Gilman?
there.
That is the
Okay.
biggest waste of
If you
time.
could play from 11:26
I don't know what he's trying
50
to establish.
to
Just that she was in the
11:27,
bar.
please.
Like, what? Who cares?
We're a little
Yeah,
bit
like
ahead
what
right
is
now.
this proving?
I don't know. But apparently, we are going to spend a whole bunch of time on it, folks. So buckle in.
I dressed up for
Who are you
court
hugging
today.
there?
I like it.
I believe that's Miss Reed.
I was
I'm
in
wearing a
my
sundress.
pajamas.
It's actually nice outside. It's actually hot in my office because it's nice
One
outside.
more, Ms. Gilman. I'm going to ask you to
It's
move forward to
77 outside.
11:46.
Yeah, it's nice here finally.
Is there a fog in the bar? Like, did the snowstorm come into the bar? Is that why the footage is so bad? It looks like there's a fog on the camera. There,
Maybe
now
it's the
clear enough.
outside camera looking in.
No, it's
That
not.
would
It's
be weird.
inside, but it's probably for some reason the light. It looked like there was a light that would have been shining directly towards the camera, which is dumb. You shouldn't do
It's
that.
really dumb. It's getting a little better
Oh, they're
now.
all cheering to something.
Make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe. And if you like the channel and you support the show, you can send a super
Could you
chat. You
pause,
can
Ms.
send a
Gilman?
Rumble rant.
Could you circle in that same area where Ms.
And I'm
McCabe
setting up
was
super tips, by the way. It's going to be
last
hilarious.
describing? Can you make anything out in this video?
I looked into it. I just didn't get.
Yes, it looks
To that
like
part.
they're all, toasting or doing a cheer before they do a shot.
Can
They're
you see
doing a
whether or not
cheer
the
before a
defendant's
shot?
part of the video?
A cheer.
Yes, it looks like she is in front of the man in the plaid coat.
I don't see
Were
any
you
plaid.
participating with the drinking at this
I
moment?
see
I
stripes.
see stripes.
I don't see myself in the video. I don't believe I was.
But you were drinking separately that night, weren't you?
Yes, I was drinking beer.
If you can continue, please.
Oh, she took that shot
Oh,
like a pussy.
Is that plaid? So it looks like stripes, but I think it's like a flannel, like a plaid
Thank you.
flannel. Yeah, that I think that's what she meant. The guy in the plaid.
Back to the chin.
Shortly after the shot, was there conversation about leaving the waterfall as a group?
Yes, there
The
was.
most famous
Was there any
chin
discussion
in
about
Canton.
where the group should go?
At first, Miss Reed was asking if we could go up the street to D&E.
What's D&E?
D&E is a sub shop that's owned by Chris Albert.
Was it open that late at night?
No, it wasn't.
Had you in the past gone to that pizza shop after hours to eat?
Yes, we had.
And tell us what the defendant was saying?
She just kept asking, can we go up to D&E? Can we go up to D&E? She wanted just to go up and, Chris makes food and then we were going to go she wanted us all just to go up there and eat and hang out.
That wasn't an uncommon occurrence for the group to sometimes go to that pizza shop after hours, was it?
No,
Did the group decide to go to the pizza shop?
they decided they weren't going to go.
Was there a different plan made?
Before Brian Albert left, he said to the group, hey, we're going to go back home and have a beer with Brian Jr. If anyone wants to come by.
When you received the invitation to the group to go back to Brian Albert's house, did you decide whether you're going to go home or go back to your sister's house?
Yes, I decided I was going to go to my sister's house.
Without saying what was said, was there any discussion in the group among the participants about going back to your sister and Brian Albert's house?
Everybody seemed to want to go back.
Did anybody object to going back?
No.
Had you been to your sister's house before?
Yes.
Many times?
Yes.
Well,
Do you know
it's
the
her
address
sister.
of where your sister lived?
Yes.
And so after that conversation, did you stay at the waterfall for a little bit or did you leave immediately?
Probably left after maybe 5-10 minutes.
Without saying what was said, before you left, did you have a chance to speak to John O'Keefe?
I did. Yes.
You spoke to him inside the waterfall?
Yes.
Did you have a chance to speak to the defendant?
Yes.
And was your plan to go back to your sister's house?
Yes.
Before you left, did you have any understanding whether or not Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant were going to join you?
Yes.
And what was your understanding?
They were coming.
Who else was going to go back?
Phrasing.
To your nephew and your sister's house?
Phrasing.
Brian Higgins and my niece Caitlin.
What about this guy?
Chupa Procta.
A little after 12, did you leave the waterfall?
Yes.
Do you remember that night leaving?
Yes.
Before you left, did you talk to anybody in particular?
Yes. Miss Reed and then Mr. O'Keefe.
Did you speak to them inside the waterfall?
I walked out with Miss Reed and we spoke at the doorway and then John joined us.
Did you invite Miss Reed to come with you?
I did. Yes.
Did she decline?
Yes.
And who did you go to your sister's house with? Who drove?
I drove and I went with my husband, Matt.
Anybody else?
No.
Do you remember about what time it was that you were speaking to Miss Reed about going to your sister's house?
After midnight.
If I could have Exhibit 22 again, Ms. Gilman, if you could take us to 12:10:36.
Somebody's sleeping again.
Yep.
It's gotta be the judge.
Oh God. Still back there.
Okay, if you could stop it there, please. Did you have a chance to talk to Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant outside of the waterfall?
Yes.
And do you know specifically what time you left the waterfall?
It was after midnight.
Okay. When you left the waterfall with your husband, you said you were driving. Did you stop anywhere along the way before you got to your sister's house?
No.
Tell us what you see when you get to your sister's house. What are the weather conditions like as you're driving there?
It's starting to snow to the point where it's starting to like accumulate. It's on your car. It's just, getting on the street.
Is it light? Is it heavy?
It's light at this point.
How long does it take to get from the waterfall to your sister's house?
Plus long.
5 to 8 minutes, depending on lights and weather, etc.
When you first get to your sister's house, while you're still in the car, describe what you see.
My wipers are on. I'm just looking out the window and it's snowing. It's dark.
Anybody in the driveway? Any cars in the driveway that you see?
Oh, when I pull up to my sister's.
Yes.
As I pull down the street, I take a left into the driveway, and there is a Jeep that's parked on the street, and there's maybe a couple of cars in my sister's driveway.
What do you do when you arrive at your sister's house?
I go in the house.
Now, there are a couple doors at your sister's house.
Yes.
Is there a front door?
Yes.
Is there a side door?
Yes.
Which one's closest
Front
to the
door.
driveway?
The side door.
Which door do you go in when you get to your sister's house?
The front door.
Was anybody with you when you went in?
My husband, Matt.
You walked in together?
Yes.
Tell us the first person you remember meeting.
When I went in the house?
Yes.
Probably my niece was at the table, and then I saw my nephew, Brian.
Was there anybody else you saw at the table?
Julie Nagel and Sarah Levinson.
So when you walk in the front door of the house, is it what table? Is this a living room table, a kitchen table?
Oh, you walk in and then you go to the right and it's into the kitchen and there's a table there.
Is the kitchen separate from the living room or is it open?
It's open, but they're separate.
Can you see the kitchen table when you walk in the door if you turn and look right?
Yes.
And when you go into the kitchen, you said there was a woman by the name of Julie Nagel
Yes.
and then another woman, Sarah.
Yes.
You know her last name?
Levinson.
Okay. Julie Nagel, did you know her when you walked in the house that night?
I'm hearing the
I've
breathing
met her
now
a few
too. It sounds like
times.
someone on oxygen.
Had you spent time with her? Were you friends with her?
It does. It's very strange.
No, I just had met her a few times and she had watched my dog for me when my nephew couldn't.
When you would go away, would your nephew be responsible to watch your dog?
Yes.
I hear it now
Do you
too, like
understand
every
that
so
Julie Nagel had
often.
watched your dog a couple
Weird.
of times?
Yes.
Had you ever socialized with her before that night?
No, I may have seen her at a graduation party, but never beyond that.
Were you friends with her at that point?
No.
Friendly enough that she watched your dogs?
Yes, through my nephew. He just said my friend's going to do it, and I
I see.
trusted his judgment.
And there was another woman by the name of Sarah. Did you know her before you saw her that night?
I knew of her. If I were to see her, I'd say hi, but that's the extent of it.
How did you know of her?
Just from being in the town, going to different sporting activities and just being around.
You said your nephew Brian was there as well in the kitchen.
Yes.
This was his birthday?
Yes.
How old was he?
I think he was turning 23.
Was there anybody else in the house when you and your husband first got there?
Yes, my sister and Brian Albert and Brian Higgins.
So Mr. Higgins, Brian Albert, and your sister were there before you.
Yes.
Where was everybody when you first came in?
My niece Caitlin, Sarah Levinson, Julie Nagel, and Brian Jr. were all at the kitchen table. My sister was over, I think, cleaning the counters, and Brian were off in that TV room that you can see from the kitchen because there's a wide open.
Brian and
You
Brian.
walk in the front door.
Brian.
Would I look left or right to see the TV room?
You look right to the kitchen, and then through the kitchen's the TV room, but you could look and almost, when you walk in, you can see because it's open.
Is the TV room in any way have a relationship with that side door?
Yes, it does.
If you were to walk in the side door, would you be walking into the TV room?
Yes.
When you saw your
Reminds me
nephew
of the
Brian
dogs.
Jr. and his friends,
Mhm.
are his friends about the same age as him?
Yes.
Were they drinking?
Same.
Yes.
Was there music?
Yes.
And when you went
Orange
in,
woman bad.
did you spend time with the
Plugs.
group?
Yes, I sat right down. and
Someone in
started
the
talking
chat
to them.
said like something
Orange
about
witch
how she's
bad.
That night.
yeah, and I'm like, oh, it's
I
like
believe
Trump,
they
but
gave
we
me.
got the
They
orange
brought
woman
me over a
bad.
White Claw, but I didn't
Wrong.
have more than a sip of it. I really wasn't.
Quiet,
It was at that
quiet,
point where I just
quiet.
didn't want another drink.
As you were in the kitchen, were you expecting anybody else?
We had mentioned it to Karen and John, and I had actually just spoken to John, so I was
Oh, we
expecting
can mark
them.
off snowing. It's snowing. It
So
was snowing.
when you saw John O'Keefe in the waterfall, that wasn't the last time you spoke to him.
No,
You had spoken to him. Was it on the ride to your nieces? I mean, to your sisters?
yes.
Did you call him or did he call you?
He texted me and I believe asked something like, where to? And since I was driving, I called him.
When you called him,
Hey,
what
Island.
did you tell him? What did you guys say?
I just said they live 34 Fairview Road off of Chapman.
Do you know if John O'Keefe had ever been to the Albert home before?
I don't believe he had.
In that conversation, how long did that conversation take?
It was quick.
Was there any other conversation that you had with him other than that one conversation?
Yes, he called me back and he was trying to find it,
Trying to find the address?
try to find the house on Fairview.
Did he ask you for help trying to find the address?
He, not sure his exact words, but yes, he needed help. And so I just said, I told him, just go down the street, go by Bella's house. It's at the bottom of the street.
So you used Bella's house as a point of designation to try to guide him to get to your sister's house?
Yes.
Tell us who Bella was to John.
Bella is my daughter and John's niece friend. So so Bella is friends with my daughter and John's niece.
And was there any relationship between Bella's mother and John that you knew
Sounds
of?
like Darth Vader. Look, is Vader in the courtroom? Oh, sidebar. All right, where are we at? Where are we at with the bingo? We got it was snowing, sidebar, flux sighting, Bev Psi, and I think that's where we're at. I don't think we have any others. We got more baldies on display. Where'd Brad go? He loves this part. Lots of baldies. There's a hair apocalypse, like he said, going on. And we're going to
Celine
we going-
Dion.
Another side?
Pamela Fanderson, whichever one you prefer. What are we doing? Why are we going to the ceiling fan? What is the cameraman doing? I'm getting sick, sir.
He wants to give us a tour of the ceiling.
He is.
I
sleeping.
guess.
Beautiful.
Like, we're not even looking at the fan either. It's just like the camera's kind of still panning. Oh Lord. Actually, I think we are a little bit
Weird.
behind. So maybe I can speed it up a bit. Yep, I can. There we go. Look, I got to fast forward through that.
More baldies.
More baldies. Baldy. Baldies in triplicate.
Oh, I don't believe a thing Jen says. I just don't like her at all.
I find
It's on her
her
best behavior right now.
Yeah, right now,
Yeah,
so far,
totally.
she's been okay. But we know we dislike her because we remember her from the last trial. You kind of have to put that out of your mind. I would say so far she appears credible to the jury. She hasn't gone nuts. I wonder if they'll get her to scream Jen again, because that was funny.
I wonder if she'll say officer or trooper Bukaki again.
That was a
would be
high
good.
moment.
That was one of the best moments, I think, of any trial.
Rosalind, pull your camera down a little. Your name is over your face. There you go. There we go. That's better. Now I can see your face.
I'm here.
Oh, good. And also, Rosalind's shoulder is
man.
joining us as well. I think that's the same sweatshirt of mine that you and I both share the same sweatshirt.
It's like a t-shirt. Kind of.
Yeah, mine's like a t-shirt material too. It's like it's very thin. I don't know why I call it a sweatshirt. She will be nice until cross-examination, says Donna.
Yes.
That's also true. That will probably
Cross-
happen.
Cross is going to be incredible. I'm excited.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to get to cross today, which is kind of sad.
wonder
Yeah, I
if
don't
they
think so
coached
either.
her on like how to not be such a Cahunty McHunterson when she's on cross.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They have been coaching the hell out of her.
Oh,
Oh.
God. Maybe. But she was so nasty on cross
Oh, I
last
know.
time.
Awful.
It will be something.
it-
Who do you think is going to do her cross?
It's got to be Jackson. It has
Jackson.
got to
Oh,
be
it has to
Jackson.
be.
You know, I really think they ought to stop using the little blonde to talk. I'm sure she does good work, like legal work, but she should not talk. She cannot. She has a very poor voice and poor, not
projection.
yeah, bad projection, but also no confidence. She does not. She shows no confidence. She reads off the page. I don't enjoy listening to her, and she comes off as an amateur, and I'm sure that's not true.
Very
She's
timid.
Yeah, she's very timid, and she seems really scared. She
Mhm.
needs to work on that. She needs to work on her presentation. That was the word I was looking for. Her presentation is subpar. It's not good. It's not even like she's still at high school level presentation for public speaking. She should not be doing a high profile trial. Sorry, but that's the way I feel about it. Every time she gets up and talks, I'm like, oh no, not her, not her.
I agree.
No.
She comes off as very timid and very unsure of herself, which is like super surprising because you're working with look at the team you're working on. Yes, I might feel a little intimidated, but I would also be like, dude, I'm on a powerhouse team. Like, say it with your chest.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, she needs
say
to
it
work
with
on
your
her
chest.
big girl voice. She needs to
Yeah.
really work on her big girl voice because it's too shaky. And as a female, anyway, you're at a disadvantage. Speaking because your speaking voice is annoying to half the people in the room. Men hate hearing women speak, so you have to work on that. And I don't think she does it very well. And I'm sure she's very smart, but she's just not very good on the
Karen sighting.
microphone. Are we going to
Is
pull
that
in
one?
on Karen? Close up. We're getting closer. Nope. Alan's in the way.
Oh.
The
I don't
cameraman-
like his face hair.
Look, the
I
camera's
don't like
trying.
his face hair.
Who? Alan Jackson's face?
Yes.
May I?
He doesn't have any hair on the side. It's
That
just,
second
it's-
phone conversation you had with John, do you know about what time that was?
Bev just woke up. She was like, damn it, I'm supposed to be awake.
It would be after 12:15, but before 12:30.
I can't wait for the butt
approximately,
dials.
between that.
Were you
Yeah,
still
but-
driving when you had that conversation?
Yes.
And at some point you told us you arrived at your sister's home and went in.
Yes.
I'd like to move forward now to when you were inside the house. Tell us generally when you first got there and saw everybody, what were you doing?
Terry.
I just sat down at the table. I started talking to them. We were listening to music. Typical night.
Anything stand out as far as music or interaction with the group?
No, we were just laughing, telling stories. At one point, I'm not sure if it was at some point, my other nephew had been over my house and had shown me this video on his phone, and it was a family inside joke. The video, it was a music video from a long time ago. And so I was telling my other niece and nephew, oh my gosh, you have to see this video. It's hysterical. And then we
Hysterical.
started playing it and watching
It's
it.
just
What was the video?
hysterical.
It's Raining Men.
What?
Did that get a lot of playtime? during that
What?
get-together?
Look at her
I
face.
have
That's
one
my
She's
sister
laughing
who
too.
sometimes has a little too much to
Fun fact,
drink,
that's
takes
my
out an
karaoke
umbrella
song.
and will
Oh,
dance.
oh,
So
what?
it's a family joke.
What?
While you were at your sister's house, what
It's
area of the house were
Knowing
you
Men,
spending
maybe?
time in?
And I was in the kitchen.
What was the mood of everybody in the house as far as you remember?
Everybody was in a great mood.
Was there any fighting,
No,
any arguing,
no,
any violence?
no.
Was it a celebratory mood?
Yes.
As you were in the house, were you waiting for anybody else that you expected to come?
Yes, I was expecting John and Karen to come.
At some point when you're in the kitchen, or let me ask you a little background. As you're in the kitchen of that house, can you see outside from the kitchen area?
They had blinds or something down, but if the blinds were up, you could see out.
Were the blinds up?
No.
At any point, were you able to see outside from inside the house?
From the front door, yes.
Does the front door, is it glass?
Yes.
At some point when you were with everybody in the celebration, did you have a chance to look outside?
Yes.
And when you looked outside, what did you see?
I saw a dark SUV out front.
Did you know whose SUV that was?
I believed it was Karen's.
Could you see who was in it?
No.
At that point of night, what does the weather look like from the front door?
It's dark and it's snowing, and I could see, brake lights.
Did you see if that SUV moved at all?
I didn't see the SUV actually move, but I saw it in a few different locations.
How many
She
times did
started.
you look out?
Can't give you an exact number of how many times I looked out. I can tell you I saw the vehicle first straight out from the front door. Then I saw it up at the flagpole, and then I saw it
Right.
further up
Ours
from the
before
flagpole.
W's.
Were you studying the car at all?
No, it was quick glances.
Did you have any reason to study it?
No,
What were you expecting was going to happen?
I was expecting John and Karen to come into the house.
Did they ever make it in the house?
No, they did not.
As you were waiting, were you doing anything else in addition to waiting for them to come in?
Yes, so I was sitting at the table. Someone made mention of a car out front, so I got up, went to the door, looked out, and then I would go back to the table, and where we were just all laughing, talking, playing music, just hanging out, not really thinking much about anything.
Did you ever reach out to John when you thought the car out front was the defendant's car with John in it? Did you ever reach out to him?
Yes, I did.
How did you reach out to him?
I texted him.
Do you know if there was a phone call that was made to you before 12:30? A 7-second
There's
phone
that breathing
call?
again.
From John?
Yes.
I don't.
You mentioned you had spoken to him about directions. Is that the last time you heard his voice?
Yes.
When the car was out front, did you exchange text messages or were you simply texting him?
I was texting him.
Do you remember what you were texting him?
The first time I said here,
What do you mean by here? Was that
like
exclamation point?
hair question mark, because that's when I saw the car.
You were wondering whether that was him?
Yes.
Did you send any other text messages that you can remember?
After I saw the car move locations, when I saw it go up to the flagpole, I said, pull behind me.
And do you
Phrasing.
remember any other communications you had with him? Was he texting you anything?
No,
Did he ever text you again that
The
night?
back door
he
was
never
open.
texted me again.
Never called again?
No,
Did you continue to text him over the next 15, 20 minutes?
I did, yes.
And so at some point,
All right, I've got to go get my
did you
laundry.
realize that
That's on the
John
bingo
O'Keefe and the
card.
defendant weren't coming in the house?
Yes, when the car was gone.
Did you ever go outside through the storm down to the flagpole to speak to them?
No,
Why not?
why would I?
I was just asking. All right.
I had no reason to.
So when you were in the house,
that was
at
a
some
long
point,
blank.
did you notice that that car was gone?
Yes,
Were you marking the time or keeping track of it?
no,
After you didn't see the defendant's car anymore, did you stay?
yes.
How long do you think you stayed for at the house?
I stayed till about around 1:30, 1:45-ish.
Did anybody else come in the house up until 1:45?
No.
Did people leave at certain times?
Yes, people did leave.
Who was the first to leave?
Brian Higgins?
Do you remember about what time he left?
I don't.
And after Mr. Higgins left, do you know who left?
I'm not I believe it was us, and then my niece Caitlin was also like at the door. It was kind of in a row. Brian left, and then a little bit later, I think it was, myself, Matt, Julie, and Sarah left. But Caitlin was at the door.
and I
I
still
believe
dressed.
she was waiting for her ride.
How much longer after Mr. Higgins left did you leave?
Maybe a half. I honestly can't say. I think he was there for a while I was there. So maybe he left anywhere from 15 minutes, approximately 15, 20 minutes before I did, or maybe a little more.
You mentioned that you had left the waterfall after midnight,
Yes.
and you had phone calls with Mr. O'Keefe along the way.
Yes.
Do you know that there are phone records with your text messages and phone calls in them?
Yes.
And do you know whether your phone records reflect the time of your calls with Mr. O'Keefe
Yes.
and your text messages?
Yes.
When you were texting Mr. O'Keefe, when the Lexus or the car was in front of the house, rather, was Mr. Higgins still there?
Yes.
What are some of the things that everybody did along that night before you left? What happened in there?
What happened inside the house?
Yeah.
Nothing. We basically just sat around the table, talked, laughed, listened to music, chit-chatted.
Celebratory?
Yes.
Was there ever any fighting?
No, none at all.
Any arguing?
None at all.
Any physical interaction?
No, none.
When you decided to leave that night, did you say around 1:45-ish?
Yes.
That's a weird
When you left
question.
around
No physical
1:45,
interaction.
Was there any events that happened that night
Nobody
that
gave
would
Fives that
cause
night.
you unrest or excitement or your heartbeat to raise?
No.
When you decided to leave, you and your husband, where were you going to go?
We were dropping off Julie Nagel and Sarah Levinson, and then we were going home.
Had you planned on dropping them off earlier in the night?
No, when we got there, Julie's brother had pulled up to pick them up, and
I won't ask you what was said because you weren't there.
Oh,
But
okay.
at some point, did you come to an understanding that you would give them a ride home?
Yes.
Did you offer?
Yes.
Who was going to drive home between you and your husband?
Matt drove home.
When you left, I want you to describe as you step out into the driveway or the walkway. Was it the front door or side door, if you remember?
I walked out the front door.
Is the weather like it was when you first got there?
No, it's picked up.
Tell us what you mean by it's picked up.
So as I walk out, you kind of go, the walkway is to the left. So I walk down the steps, I go to the left. The snow was coming, it was cold, the wind was picking up. So I kind of just like curled up and
It's
ran to my
snowing.
car quick to get in.
What part of the car did you get into?
He's
Thank
cold
God
outside.
they tell us
Who was
that.
driving?
Matt.
Right?
And where were the other two
I'm
people?
so glad.
Sarah and Julie were in the back seat.
Who was in what spot?
I'm not exactly sure.
So both of the young women were in the back seat?
Yes.
Was there any conversation when you got into the car?
We got in the car and they were teasing me
Why were they teasing you?
because I had like bread and maybe peanut butter in my car.
Why did you have bread and peanut butter in your car?
I
Who
had
cares?
had my niece for the week, and I was dragging her like to all my kids' sporting events. So we'd go from like one game to another game to a practice. So sometimes instead of always giving her McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts, I'd try to throw her a peanut butter sandwich.
And they
Dunkin'
were making
Donuts.
fun of you?
Yeah.
Because that's so much
As the
healthier.
car backs out of the driveway, tell us what you're doing.
I'm talking
Throw
to
her
the
a
girls.
peanut butter
You
and
just
jelly
moved your head.
Yes.
Does that mean anything?
Yes.
Tell us.
They were both sitting behind me. So I was like turning and, chatting and talking.
After your husband pulls out of the driveway, do you start to drive home?
Yes.
If the house is on my right
Mhm.
and you're driving, are you in the passenger seat closest to the house or furthest away?
Passenger seat closest.
So you're driving, if you look at a picture of the house,
Mhm.
you would be driving from right to left?
Yes.
So as you start to drive or your husband starts to drive the car, what direction are you looking in, if you remember?
The back seat.
Did you drive by the front of the house, do you know?
We pulled out of the driveway
If
and
you're
went up
wondering,
Chapman.
And your husband,
if you're wondering why the peanut butter talk, it's because they have to have an excuse why when they're driving away from the house, they don't see a body on the lawn. So the
Mhm.
story is I had peanut butter and bread in the back of my car and they were all focused on that. And I was looking at them, not out the window. That's what that's about.
and you passed by the front of the house?
Yes.
Did you pass by the flagpole?
Yes.
Were you looking at the flag?
No,
No.
I wasn't looking at the flagpole, even though it was on my side of the
How dark was it
car
at that point?
and
was
lit up
dark.
with the headlights.
Snow?
Yes.
It was
As you're
snowing.
passing the flagpole, do you hear or see anything remarkable?
No, I'm not really paying attention. I'm just chatting to the girls, and Matt's just focusing on driving.
When you're talking to the girls and they're making fun of you, what's the mood in the car?
We're all laughing and joking.
Where do you go next?
We drive
Peanut butter is so
Julie Nagel
funny.
home.
After you drop off Miss Nagel, where do you go?
We drop off Sarah Levinson.
Is the weather constant?
Yes.
After you drop off the young woman in separate spots, where do you go?
We went home.
Can you tell us when you get home what happens next?
We go in the house. I go up to bed. Matt makes himself a snack and then joins me upstairs.
Do you have a telephone?
Yes.
An iPhone?
Yes.
When you go to bed, do you stay up at all?
Yes.
Do you use your iPhone?
Yes, I do.
What were you doing?
I texted a few people and then I did a couple of Google searches.
And what were the searches for?
One, my
Awesome.
daughter had played in a
Nice, huh?
basketball game earlier in the night, and it was a very good game. So I went and I read the report on it. And then my other daughter had an offer to play on a basketball team. So we had to make a decision about whether or not we were going to accept the spot. So I was just looking up that basketball club.
Other than those regular searches that one would do, was there anything remarkable about what you were searching at 2/2/27, that time frame?
No.
Mm-hmm.
After you were looking at websites for your child's sports, what did you do?
I put my phone down and went to sleep.
And up to that point, had there been any discord or fighting or arguments in your world?
No.
Peaceful night?
Yes.
Did you go to sleep, Miss McCabe?
Yes.
Did you sleep through the night?
I typically get up to
Completely
go to the
glossing over
bathroom, so that I could have
"Are you
gotten
here"
up
piece?
possibly to go to the bathroom.
Did anything remarkable happen in the early morning hours of January 29, 2022 that changed that peaceful mood into something else?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to share with the jury the first thing that happens is everything.
At 4:53, my phone rings and I look at my caller ID. I look at the phone and it's Kaylee,
And
John's
who's Kaylee?
niece. John's niece. And I say hello. And she said, yeah, well, basically she relayed to me that
When you pick up the phone, could you hear a voice on the other end?
I heard a voice and a lot of screaming.
And the voice you heard, is that Kaylee, John's niece?
Yes,
Get
And the
ready for the
screaming.
Jen.
Was it a man or a woman screaming?
it was a woman,
How loud was that person screaming?
very loud.
Could you make out anything that person was saying as they were screaming?
My name was screamed
She's
a lot.
not going to do it. She's not going to do it.
And then the other individual ended up getting on the phone with me.
And who was that
I was
person
pre-ready to check that
was
square.
screaming in the background?
She wasn't going to
Reed.
do it.
How long was she screaming for while you were speaking to your niece before you spoke to her?
The entire time I was speaking to Kaylee, she was screaming.
Describe her demeanor.
Miss Reed's.
Yes.
Damn, I'm not gonna get that.
Oh,
thing
there she
down.
goes. Jen!
And then she's screaming that John didn't come home. She left him at the waterfall.
got it.
She
We
was
got it, Pam.
hysterical.
We got it,
I was
Pam.
very hard to follow what she was
Yep.
saying.
How long did that close call last for?
Oh,
I'm not sure
And she
how
went
long.
crazy, too. She got the
maybe
crazy-
possibly a few minutes.
not at all.
But
Yeah.
it was loud enough and long enough that my husband shot up in bed, thinking one of my kids had come in the room screaming.
Yeah, screams in Boston.
When-
Yeah, we can
without
check
saying
that
what
off
your
too.
niece said, could you describe your niece's
Yes.
demeanor
Screams in
when you
Boston.
first spoke to her? I mean, John's niece's demeanor.
I would say Kaylee sound concerned, uneasy.
During that phone call, other than the screaming and the screaming of your name, did the defendant give you any information other than she had dropped John off at the waterfall?
They had gotten into a fight. She had left him there and he didn't come home.
And when you were woken up, were you in a sleep when you were woken up?
Yes, I was sound asleep.
What was your mental state like when you first woke up and got that call?
Well, I had been up late. I had taken my medication that I take for my MS. So I was definitely a bit groggy when I first woke up. So immediately I just wanted to help her. She was hysterical. Kaylee was upset. So I went into that kind of mom mode of what can I do? How can I help? So I immediately was like thinking, okay, well, if you left him at the waterfall, let me think who was still there, or, you know, how can I help you? How can we
Who can we
find John?
blame?
Did you have a plan when you ended that first call?
I did. I knew Chris Albert had still been at the waterfall when I left. So I thought if Karen and John had gotten into a fight, maybe Chris had walked out of the bar, and Chris lived local to the bar, thought maybe they walked back to Chris's together.
So what did you do?
So I called Chris Albert's wife, Julie.
Did you speak to her?
No, she never answered.
After you had a moment to make a phone call and think about things, did your head become any more clearer?
It did. And I was, reminded by my husband that we had seen Karen and John's car outside of Fairview.
When he reminded you, did you
No,
independently remember
reminded.
the text messages that you sent to John earlier that evening?
Immediately, I was like, oh my God, you're right.
Did you remember that you had seen what you believed to be the defendant's car in front of the house and near the flagpole?
Objection.
Watch the form.
Okay. What did you remember? What came to mind after you spoke to your husband about your memory from earlier that evening?
The minute he said it, I remember seeing the SUV, and then all the text messages that I had and the phone conversation with John.
So after the defendant spoke to you and said she had left the defendant at the waterfall and you had time to think about your memories, did you react or do anything with that?
Yes, I believe I called Kaylee back.
Why did you call Kaylee?
I didn't have Miss Reed's phone number.
When you called Kaylee back, did you speak to anybody?
Yes, I believe Kaylee and then Miss Reed.
When you first spoke to Kaylee, could you hear anything other than Kaylee?
The screaming,
Was it any different, or was it similar to the first time you spoke by phone?
similar to the first time.
Regarding the demeanor or intensity, had it changed at all?
Not at all.
You mentioned the first time that you had that phone call, the defendant was screaming your name. Jen,
Yes.
Jen, Jen. Was she saying your name in the second call, or was it just general screaming?
My name. And then when she got on the phone, I had told her, Karen, I saw you guys outside of my sister's house. And then she told me she didn't remember being there. And then she went on to say, she started saying, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? I don't. And then she just was just all over the place, like screaming my name, screaming so many different things. She was hard to follow or understand.
When she was saying to you, did I hit him? Could have I hit him? Was that before or after you informed her that you had seen her out front of your sister's house?
It was after I told her that. She also informed me that she had cracked her taillight.
In that conversation, she told you that?
In one of the conversations I had with her in my bedroom, yes.
When you told her that you had seen her out front, and she had said that she didn't remember that night, was that before or after she was saying, did I hit him? Could have I hit him?
Can you repeat the question?
When
Sorry.
she was telling you about that she didn't remember that night,
Mhm.
was that before or after you had told her about seeing her car?
When I said I saw her at Fairview, then her response was she didn't even remember going there.
Did
She didn't
ever
even
deny
remember the
that she
text or
came
seen him
to
there
Mr.
either.
O'Keefe's house? I mean, to your sister's house?
No.
Just
When
FYI.
she told you or said to you, did I hit him
whatever.
or could have I hit him or something like that, did you have any idea what she was talking about?
No, I didn't pay attention to it.
When she told you that she had cracked her taillight the night before, did that have any significance at that time to you?
No.
So in telling you these different things, did you ever piece them together at that time?
No.
What was your primary motivation at that point?
I just wanted to help her because she was hysterical. Kaylee was very upset, so I wanted to help her, and I wanted to find John.
So after she told you these things about whether she could or did hit her and the light and not remembering, did the conversation end or did it progress?
At some point I was then going into like, okay, well, if she brought him there and left him there, where was he? Because he never came in the house and she doesn't know where he is. So now where could he be? So I started thinking there was another gentleman that was supposed to meet us out at the bar who John was friends with. So I thought, okay, well, in my head, I'm thinking maybe they got into a fight. John got out of the car and he connected with this guy because he was at a party on the street.
What was that
Over.
person's name?
His name is Tom
Take a
Beatty.
drink of water. Quit
Did you
doing
call
that.
him?
Yes.
Did you get a chance to speak to him that night?
That morning?
Yes.
No.
Did you call around anywhere else?
I believe I called my sister. I called John. I called Tom Beatty. I called his daughter.
You called John O'Keefe's phone?
I covered all
Yes.
my
Did he answer?
bases.
No,
What about the butt
Did
dials?
it go right to voicemail?
I don't remember.
Did you text anybody?
I honestly don't remember if I
Okay.
texted. I primarily think I was just trying to call as many people as I could and try to figure out what happened.
So you had two conversations at this point with the defendant while you were still home.
Yes.
Was there any further phone calls that you had before you did something?
I'm not sure if I know I went downstairs to make coffee because my plan was to go with my husband. I said, come on, let's just go over to Tom Beatty's. Let's see. Maybe John's there. He passed out on the couch. I'm not sure if Karen called me again or not. It's a little foggy because there was so many calls and everything.
And so that morning when you're receiving calls, did something happen?
Karen showed up at my house.
How did you know Karen showed up at your house?
I could hear her screaming out front.
And about what time is this?
Approximately 5:20, 5:30. I can't be
Were
sure.
you worried for John at this
She
point?
knows what time it is, what time
Not
it was.
particularly. No.
She knew
Were
what
you
time the other
screaming?
text was.
No.
Now at this point, this moment when you hear her outside of your house yelling early morning hours,
Mhm.
did you know a person by the name of Kerry Roberts?
I knew of her. I'd met her once.
Were you friends with her at that time?
No.
Had you socialized with her at that time?
No.
Had you ever seen her before with John?
Once.
Tell me about that.
Years earlier, as I said earlier, I used to take Kaylee on Friday nights, and Kerry was the one who would take Patrick on Friday night. So we would each have the kids. And to thank us, one day John told us how he got a discount at Reebok and to get our kids' shoe sizes, and he was going to buy us all sneakers, just as a way to say thank you for helping. So we all went to the store together, and then John took Kerry and myself to the hillside for lunch.
How many years before this moment was that?
Oh, gosh. Well, I think that's when my daughter was in kindergarten or first grade, and at this point she was in 8th grade. So like 7 years.
Had you ever spent any other time with Kerry Roberts before this morning?
No.
Were you friends at that point?
No.
How would you consider your relationship with Miss Roberts on that morning when Miss Reed arrived to your home?
I had met her once, and that was the extent of it. I wouldn't say I knew her at all beyond that one time I went out with her.
I want you to take us back now to when you first hear the defendant in your driveway yelling. When you hear that, do you hear any words or is it general yelling?
So I hear yelling. So I was downstairs making coffee. I go to my front door and I open it, and she's screaming, Jen, Jen. She's screaming that 3 times. And then she was saying, we have to go to
She's so
Fairview.
crazy. I love it.
You know, a lot of the, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Just, she was on repeat.
What did you do?
My husband came running down the hall and was like, tell her to shut up. She's going to wake up the neighbors. And then I said, I'm just going to go with her. I'm going to go look for John. And then he yelled down saying something like, you can't be driving around in this weather, with a broken taillight.
When you saw the defendant at your front door, had the weather changed overnight?
Yes.
Was it different?
Yes. Now the snow had intensified. It was almost like it was dark outside, but it was like whiteout conditions.
How dark?
Dark. I mean, it was dark. It was like 5:30 in the
question is
morning.
What was the visibility like?
Not good.
There is
After you
a
meet the
new
defendant that you-
poll. There's a new poll on the YouTubes. Megan spent more money on super chats on Nick's channel than she made today. True, false, or okay, I'll send breadsticks. It is true, by the way. It's true. I actually did. That is actually true. We are at so below medium wage. It's not even funny. So if you have Starbucks money that you really shouldn't spend, go ahead and send that my way, because we're sitting here for a while now, folks. An hour and a half. My God, I'm below minimum wage. This is bad. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. All right. Anyway, here we go.
Your door, do you let her in or does she stay outside?
I'm not sure if I just grabbed my coffee and ran out
Where did you
or
go?
whether she came in. So we went down my walkway. She was just kind of
Priorities. Grabbing the
running all
coffee.
around. The driver's door was open. So I told her I was going to drive because
I know you
thought
did.
she
Hey,
was
Joe,
too
you're my
hysterical to
favorite.
drive. In the meantime, all of a sudden there was a car at the end of my street and there was a plow behind
Death's
it.
Angel and Hey Joe.
The car
Only
that came
two
to the
decent
end of your
super
street, do you know where it
chatters in
went?
here.
I meant the end of my driveway. I'm sorry.
When you say at the end of your driveway, did it pull into your driveway?
No, it just kind of stopped right at the base of my driveway.
How far behind your car was that car?
Not far, not too far.
Did you know who was in that car?
No,
Why doesn't he tell
Did
her
you
to
learn
take a
who was in
drink?
that car?
Very
Yes.
How did you learn
distracting.
who was in the car?
because I said, who is that? And-
Did you ask the defendant or did you walk
I
up?
asked the defendant
Okay.
and she told me it was Carrie Roberts.
Did you meet Carrie Roberts face to face in your driveway that morning?
Yes, I wouldn't say we met. It was more
There
of
we
a,
go, Billy.
the plow
That's how
was
you do
coming.
it.
Think she was having to like move down the street, and then either Karen called
Chat
her or she
shaming.
called Karen, but they were on the phone, Karen's phone over the car, so they started talking.
Here,
Did you
see?
get into the defendant's
It's time for
car?
mom shaming.
Yes, we did. I got in the car with Miss Reed.
When you got in the car,
That's
you were in the driver's seat. Was Miss Reed in the passenger front?
Yes,
You said there was an open call. Is this something you could hear on a speaker?
yes,
At that point, had you had a chance to go and look at the taillight of that car?
no,
Did you have any interest in the taillight at that point?
no.
There was an open call between who?
Karen and Carrie Roberts.
Can you describe what you heard in that call?
Karen was saying that she wanted to go to Fairview, and Carrie Roberts was instructing her that no, we weren't going to be going to Fairview, and she kept saying we got to go to your sister's house. And Carrie Roberts said, "No, we're not going to be
Also one of
driving
my
around in
favorite
this
chatters.
weather in two cars. Let's go back to John's. Let's go to Meadows. Let's go see if he's there."
Hey, Sticky.
That was kind of the conversation. And then Karen was doing a lot of screaming, and Carrie was kind of yelling back at her to shut up.
Oh,
Who was
nice.
taking charge of the situation
That's
that
great. Carrie was
Carrie
telling
Roberts.
Karen to
Were
shut
you in
up.
charge of it?
No,
Did you weigh
Shut
in
up,
or make
Karen.
any decisions on where you were going to go next, or were you just
Shut up,
a listener?
Karen.
I just listened. Carrie said that Carrie's kind of a take charge person. She said, we're going to Meadows. So I
Karen?
said, okay, I
They say
drove to
Karen.
Meadows.
Now, at this
Karen.
point, you didn't know Carrie
Karen.
Roberts other than
Karen.
that meeting,
Yes, correct.
and you agreed to follow her.
Yes.
So tell us what happens. Take us
They
through
say
the drive.
Karen, but they
She
can't
might
say
have followed
car.
me. I'm not sure, but
Weird.
we drove back to Meadows, pulled into the driveway.
So you knew where Meadows was. You had been there many times for the kids.
Yes,
You think Miss Roberts may have followed you?
yes.
What was the weather conditions as you were driving?
They were awful. It was, I was driving very slow, cautiously. It was dark. It was hard to see. It was
Snowing? Was
it
it
was that type
snowing?
where the snow is like
Yeah,
coming
there
at
it
your
is.
window.
How
Snowing.
long of a ride was it from your home to
Because
John's
snow
home?
never comes at the
Um,
window.
Approximately 5-6 minutes.
Was there any other phone calls while you were in the car with Miss Roberts, or did the phone calls end?
I believe that was it.
Can you describe the defendant's demeanor on the trip from your house to John's house?
She was just screaming, yelling things. It was almost like everything she said 3 times.
Here we
and
go
She
with
just
the
went
3
from one thing
times.
to the next. She was quite hysterical.
Do you remember what she was yelling about?
About going to Fairview,
I hit him, I
asking,
hit him, I hit him.
could she have hit him? Did I hit him?
How many
Oh,
times?
come
did
on.
you
Twice.
say
Come on.
the question, did I hit him?
That's
Did I hit him?
twice, not 3
A
times.
good amount.
Did you ever speak to her about that?
She's
Case is
just
lost.
messing with us.
That's a
At some
literal
point, did you
contradiction
finally
right
get
there.
to John's home?
Yes.
When you
She's avoiding saying I hit him, I hit him, I hit him like she did last trial. Are you noticing
Yeah,
that?
but she's
She's
like,
now saying, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Where is her absolute certainty that she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him? That came from Jen McCabe.
and see, this is exact. She literally said, "Oh, she said it 3 times," and then as quoting her goes, "Did I hit him? Could I have
Could
hit
I have
him?"
hit him?
Those are 2 different things, and only twice. Not where's the
Maybe
third?
he's
I
maybe
hit him.
he's maybe he's leading up to it. Maybe the I hit him, I hit him, I hit him came after she found the body, maybe. Or we're not at the body part, so maybe
got
that's
to
not-
John's
No, they
home,
are
who
saying she
pulled
said it in the
driveway
car.
first?
in the car. But
In the car.
it was
In the
at the
car.
scene at the car. But at the scene where they reported she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. I think. Don't get me wrong, but I think that's because remember the little fireman, the little fire guy, the little EMT
Yeah.
guy was like, he said he heard that, and then they showed the video and he was nowhere near Karen came nowhere near them.
Did they
Mhm.
say
So they were like,
Yeah.
or here?
But she
Yeah.
literally just said she said it in 3s and then
Right.
quoted her only saying it
In
twice. But
twice.
she literally was like, "Oh, she said it 3 times."
she said everything she said 3 times. It's weird. Like she's a weird witch, the witch of Canton, like over the cauldron saying everything 3 times. It doesn't make any sense.
I
And
did.
then directly quotes
did you
her
pull in?
only twice.
Only
In
twice.
respect to the driveway.
I just pulled straight in next to the garage.
Did you see where Miss Roberts went?
I believe she pulled in behind me.
After you pulled into Meadows, John's home, and you stopped, what happened next?
We go into John's house.
When you went into John's house, did you all go in the same way?
Yes, we went through the garage.
And before going into John's home, did you do anything?
Before entering into the house,
Yes.
I took off my shoes.
You took off your shoes?
Yes,
Why did you do that?
because you always had to take your shoes off at John's. He didn't want you to track. He would have yelled at me for tracking snow in his house.
Did you see if Kerry took her shoes off or not?
I believe she did.
Did you see whether the defendant took her shoes off or not?
She just walked right in.
How would you remember that?
Someone
I thought
is
it was strange.
whining with the breathing.
What was your purpose when you went into the house? What was the number one
It
thing?
literally sounds like the dogs.
We were
It's
looking
not
at
a
No,
dog.
John.
it does. It sounds like the dogs. If no one else is
Jeff,
hearing
wake
this
up,
on there,
Jeff.
Jeff's like, it's the snakes. It's the snakes. The snakes were snoring.
Just the
Uh,
snakes.
If no one else is hearing this, I'm starting to think that there's something weird going on.
I can hear it.
Anything else on your
I
mind
mean,
when
on
you
other
went to his
channels.
house?
Also, I
What is
knew
this
Kaylee
weirdness?
was there.
Now, at this point, did you have a close relationship with Kaylee?
Yes,
Do you still?
yes.
What did you do when you went in the house? Where did you go?
I walked through the kitchen and then I kind of peeked into the TV room. I walked through the dining room, and then before I went up the stairs, I kind of peeked into a living room. I went up to the top of the stairs. I peeked into John's room, and then I went into Kaylee's room.
Did you ever see John?
No,
Why did you go to Kaylee's room?
because I wanted to go check on Kaylee.
Did you have a chance to speak to her?
I did, yes.
What was her demeanor at that point?
She was very, she was in the bed. She was holding on to her phone. She was terrified.
Was she screaming?
No,
Did you provide her any comfort?
yes. I told her that I was going to go out. I told Kaylee that I was
She'll
going
allow it,
to
of course.
go out with them and I was going to find John. And I promised her that everything would be okay.
So you lied.
At some point, you left Kaylee.
Yes.
Where did you go?
Here come the tears.
I went back downstairs and then we went out to look for John.
Before you left John's house that morning, did the defendant show you anything?
Yes. When we were out in the driveway, I had thought it was when we went in, but I think it might have been when we came out. But regardless, at one point when we were in the driveway at Meadows, Karen showed myself and Kerry Roberts the cracked taillight.
Did you or Miss Roberts get close to the taillight at that point?
Yes, we walked over and the taillight was missing pieces.
Did Miss Roberts have any comment about it?
Yes, Miss Rob.
So she had a comment. Next question.
What was Miss Roberts' demeanor at that point?
She was frustrated with Karen. Had said that
She allows everything for the
you know,
prosecution.
had said that Karen
Right? Of course. she
basically was
allows it.
telling her to shut up. You were so drunk. You could have hit anything last night. And then Kerry, I remember just thinking, all right, let's go. And I remember Kerry thinking, oh,
Well,
someone's
let me
going
not
to
ask
get,
you what Kerry.
oh, sorry.
We don't want
I
to
got to get all my
think what
talking
somebody
points.
thought.
Okay.
I want to know what you heard and what you saw.
hmm
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. At some point when you were looking at the taillight with missing pieces with the defendant.
she just
and
said it
Miss
was
Roberts,
cracked.
Did you see Miss Roberts point anything
I thought
out?
she just said it was missing
Yes.
pieces.
Share that with us.
She pointed a piece that was sticking out and was concerned that someone was going to catch their coat or something on it.
And during that time when the defendant is showing you the taillight with missing pieces, was she saying anything about it?
No, I don't. Not that I can recall right now.
You mentioned at some point she was saying, did I or could I have hit him after you left John's house? Was that in the car or before you got in the car?
I know for a fact it was definitely in the car, was one of the times. Yes.
Now, Miss Roberts' car is parked behind the defendant's car in John's driveway.
Yes.
Was there a decision made to take one or two cars?
One car.
What was the plan?
The plan was to get into Carrie's car and to go and look for John. I wanted to go thinking, let's go to Tom Beatty's, but Miss Reed was pretty adamant that we go to Fairview first.
You said that at times there was some arguing or bickering, or Miss Roberts was raising her voice to the defendant.
Yes.
Who made the decision to go to Fairview?
Ultimately, Carrie said, all right, we'll go there, almost like to shut her up.
When you got in the car, where was everybody? When you got into Kerry Roberts' car, where
Yes.
was everybody sitting?
Carrie was driving. I was in the front and passenger. Karen was in the back, in the middle, kind of peeking her head through between us.
I want you to take us through the ride from John's house at Meadows until you first get to Fairview. So as you pull out of, or Kerry Roberts pulls out of John's driveway, what is the mood inside that car?
I'd say it was starting to get tense because Karen was just continuously screaming. Kerry was trying to focus on driving, and Karen's behavior in the back of the car was a bit erratic.
When you say erratic, can you just give some detail what you mean by that?
Yes, she would go from sitting back to leaning up in between us, and she would yell Kerry's name 3 times. Then she would yell my name's three times, and then she would yell,
Three
"Could I
times,
hit
three
him? Did I
times,
hit
three
him?"
Why is that
Over and
important to say?
over again.
When she was repeating these questions or phrases that she was yelling,
She keeps saying 3 times, but you're only saying it twice.
I don't believe I did. No,
how about Kerry?
Kerry was telling her to shut up and to buckle up.
Was she buckled?
I don't believe so.
You began your drive from Mr.
Oh, well.
McKee's home at Meadows.
Indict her
to
for that
Fairview.
too. She didn't have her
Is
seatbelt
the
on.
weather getting better?
No, it's getting worse.
Is the visibility still difficult?
Was it
It was
snowing?
terrible.
As you began that drive to Fairview, was there anything that
Had you
you
been
were
drinking?
doing on the way?
Yes, I was just kind of looking out the window intently to see if I saw anything.
What were you looking for?
I guess John, which I
what
know
were
it
you
sounds
looking
crazy,
for?
but I didn't know where the hell he was.
Did you have any difficulty seeing from the car the side of the road?
Yes.
Did you see what direction Ms. Roberts was looking when she was driving?
Well, she, it was hard because she needed to focus on driving because the conditions were that bad.
Did you have a chance to see the defendant on that drive at all?
Yes.
Was she looking out the windows with you?
No, she was popping back and forth and screaming.
Was it constant screaming or did it change at all?
She would scream and then kind of sit back and she'd almost be like quiet for a minute. It was like, okay, good. And then she'd start again.
In those quiet times, do you know what, if anything, she was doing?
I didn't know what she was doing that morning, no.
How long did it take to get to Fairview?
I don't know. I'm going to assume maybe 10 minutes, like with the weather.
I'm surprised
Maybe
we've had
10
no
minutes.
sirens.
Give or take approximately.
Right?
As you're approaching 34 Fairview Road, before you get there, is Fairview going to be on your left side, driver's side, or on the right side?
As we're pulling up, it's on the driver's side. Carrie's going to take a left down Fairview off of Chapman.
I want you to take us back to that morning, about 20 or 30 yards before you get to Fairview.
Mhm.
You're in the car with Miss Roberts and the defendant.
Yes.
What's happening in the car?
Karen's is screaming, and at that point, she had
What was she
asked
screaming?
if John could be
Karen
cheating on
screaming?
her, and if John could
how many
be
times
with
was she-
Bella's mom.
This is the new It's
No more.
Snowing. Karen was
I
screaming.
just didn't know what the hell she was talking about. I was like, what are you talking about? Why would he be with Bella's mom? And then Carrie said, well, do you think he could have walked to, there was another woman years before that John had dated who lived on the next street over to her house.
And as you approach,
Yes, I'm
that
going to
area
leave
before
my
you get to the
girlfriend in the
flagpole,
car
is anything
and go
remarkable
walk to my
happen?
ex.
Okay. What happens next?
As we're driving down the street, I just say to Carrie, because she doesn't know where my sister lives, oh, her house is just at the bottom of the street.
Visibility still difficult?
Yes, awful.
What happens next?
We continue, driving, and we're driving slowly past, the line of, I guess, bushes and the flagpole area. And all of a sudden, Karen's screaming from the back, there he is, or something to the effect of, there he is, let me out.
Did you know what she was talking about?
I had no idea.
When she was yelling that, did you look out the window?
Yeah, we had our eyes peeled out the window.
Did you see anything?
Nothing but snow.
How long was she yelling about whatever it is she was saying?
Carrie, she screamed, stop. So Carrie stopped pretty quickly. There he is. She could have kicked the door, like, let me out of here.
When she was kicking the door, what were you doing?
I was just like, what the heck? What is going on?
What happens next?
She gets out. Carrie looks at me and said something, said like, she's batshit crazy.
Oh
Then
my
what
God,
happened?
these women.
Then Carrie got out. Then I got out of the car, walked around the back of the car, and was walking like over to where I could see the girls were.
Now, at that point, you were in Kerry Roberts' car.
Yes.
It had its headlights on.
Yes.
Was it facing up the street of Fairview?
Well, we had come down the hill, so yes, up the street.
There was no other lighting in that area?
Yep.
I do not believe so.
No fire engines or ambulances at that point?
No,
No police cars?
no,
Any street lights?
it was dark.
When you got out of the car,
Yes, it's dark.
And
And then
did
you
you
see
look
the street
towards the
lights. So it
area
makes
of
it
the
easier
flagpole?
to see.
Yes,
could you see anything at that point?
no.
How close did you get to the area of the flagpole before you could first actually see something?
Well, I saw the shadowy figures of Carrie and Karen, and it wasn't until I got very close over to them that I saw Carrie removing the snow from John's face.
Is that the first moment you realized that that was John O'Keefe on the ground?
Yes, it was.
When you see Carrie removing the snow from John's face, what do you do?
I was frozen. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that was him just lying there.
Tell us what you're seeing.
So not so bad
Onward.
shit
What I see.
after all.
I see
Right.
Carrie just wiping the snow off. Karen had straddled him and had lifted her shirt and his shirt and was laying on him, and Carrie was screaming at her to get off of him.
What?
And
Why? What is
I
wrong
was
with this Carrie
literally
person?
just
Yeah.
told him there,
She's trying
there he
to-
was.
Warm him up, for God's sake.
What did John look like when you saw him?
I couldn't see much but his face, because the rest was snow, and Karen was moving over him, but he just looked like just him, but just like frozen.
Oh, here she goes. She's trying to pull the tears up, but they're
What
not
did you
coming.
do?
It's not working.
At first, I just stood there for a minute because I couldn't believe it was him.
If you hydrate, it might be easier
And
to
Carrie
cry.
Roberts and I made eye contact. And I knew, I was like, all right, I'm going to call 911. But I think I knew in that moment that John, was dead.
She's
You
not
knew
doing a
in
good
the
job
moment
acting.
on the first time.
Yeah, I started to call 911.
Sniffing.
and
There's nothing
Carrie
to sniff,
and
but she's
Karen were
sniffing.
just screaming. And
And it was that gulp that
so I walked back towards Carrie's car, and then Carrie was also yelling at me to go to the back of the car to look for blankets and towels. So as I was calling 911, I was at the back of the car looking for the towels and the blankets to bring over to Carrie. And while I was doing that, I believe 911 answered.
Did you speak to 911?
I did, yes.
Did you get the towels and blankets that Carrie had requested?
I did, yes.
After your phone call with 911 and you had the towels and blankets, tell us what happens next.
So after I called 911, I went back over to Carrie, Karen, and John. And at that point, Carrie asked if I would take over compressions. So she got up and I started doing compressions, and Karen was doing mouth to mouth.
When you started doing compressions, were you touching John over his clothes or touching
No,
his
I wasn't touching him. I was
I
doing
don't
psychic
remember.
compressions.
Did you at that point get a chance to touch John's body and see how it felt temperature-wise?
I just remember when I was doing the compressions, I don't really know how to explain it. It just felt very funny.
I'm sorry, very
It
what?
just wasn't like normal.
It was
I
a
don't-
joke.
What's
How would she
normal
know what it would
compression?
feel like? Has she ever done CPR before?
I can't think
That's a strange
of
question.
how to describe the way it felt
Like he
when I
was
was trying to
cold?
press down, but it was like resistance.
That's what he's getting at. He wants her to say he was cold.
How long did you try to give compressions and give aid to John for?
Until the police came.
Mr. Brennan, why don't we end here?
Thank you.
Oh, Bev wants to leave early.
I'm gonna need you back tomorrow. You can stay.
oh shit.
And we're done.
Sure, that's it for today. I have to give you
Oh,
those
bingo.
cautions. Please do
It's
not
only 4:00.
discuss this case with anyone. Don't do any independent research or investigation.
Okay, you can now
After this
Bev
case,
gets
if
out
you
early.
happen to see here
Yep, I got it.
regarding
Bingo.
check off.
About this case, please
I don't-
disregard it and let us know. And again, please be very.
I'm not
careful
even
with your
close
social
to a
media.
bingo.
All right,
Dang
we'll
it.
see you tomorrow.
I love your bingo cards. I always
Are they having? Is she going to be dealing with the attorneys after this?
Goodbye.
Are we doing a hearing or something?
I mean, or is she really just? That's it. We're done. Anybody
Like
know?
I know that,
That was-
she ends at like around 4:30.
This
But I thought she
woman
was going to do
works
full length days.
She works less hours than any judge I've literally ever seen. Did they end the whole thing? Oh no, it says it's on a short break.
They might come back for some type of hearing.
Are they coming
have-
back?
They
for
never
him?
really said much about the voir dire from yesterday.
Oh, is she going to rule? She might be ruling on that.
Oh, she might. She might rule on that. I think they're gonna come back. Well, that's good. That means bingo's not done. So far, we've got Jen, Bev sigh. It was snowing. Sidebar, free space. Bev wants out early. Megan changes laundry. Flux sighting screams in Boston. Did we miss anything else? We still didn't get any close-ups of Karen, which is weird. Normally that camera's right on her. Yeah, no Turtle Boy sighting. Nope, we don't have that.
Anita Lessie pisses me off.
Why doesn't
Well,
Leslie piss you off?
He just does. I don't know. There's something about him. I hate the way he talks. He yells everything. And he was needlessly aggressive today, I think, when he didn't need to be. And it was starting to get old. Like if you do it too much, now everyone's like, well, why is he always yelling? I don't know why he's always yelling. So I don't know. He bothers me. He's not my favorite attorney.
I think it was Bronca who said it. He's kind of like the Elon Musk of
Like
lawyers.
he's got autism or something. Maybe.
Like,
I mean, I don't know. He doesn't. Everyone's so impressed by him, but I am not. I am not impressed by him, and I don't think that so far, his arguments haven't won him much. So,
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the judge isn't really ruling in favor of the defense much, just in general.
True. Okay, Yannetti asked for a 5-minute break. Okay. All right, but the jury got dismissed for the day. Yeah. That's
She's got to be ruling on the ARCA guys or something.
Oh God, if she keeps the ARCA guys out, Karen is so screwed. She's so screwed. That hearing yesterday was insane.
It was wild.
Brendan was
sitting
like
there and I'm just like,
attack dog. What was he thinking he was going to get out of that? Like, are you friends? Do you barbecue with Mr. Jackson? Like, what? It was so weird. It was like, so do you throw a cold one back with him at the bar later? Like, what? It was so bizarre.
Did you get a Christmas
it was
card?
really
Christmas
It was really funny when when he was sitting there explaining how like he had to go to the lunch because he was waiting for his ride, and he was like, I was just there for lunch and then I stood in the corner, and he's like, but you hung out with them, and he's like, I just needed a ride to the airport.
I like, who did you walk into
we'll get you.
Who did you walk into the building with? What? Why would that matter?
I don't know.
When did you meet Alan Jackson in person? Like, I don't really remember. I think in the courtroom. Like, the whole thing was so weird.
He was trying to get fraternization really bad and doing a poor job of getting it.
Maybe he just doesn't get invited to places.
And yet today we had his expert witness calling him Hank over and over again. Remember
that
yesterday?
Was crazy.
He said to the ARCA guy, he's like, what would you call me? I'm like, well, I can think of a few things. That's quite the question to ask a witness that you're badgering. What would you call me? I'd call you a cunt, sir. But that's
no
just
kidding.
me.
That was crazy. I mean, it's true. If you don't, if you have the facts, pound the facts. If you don't have the facts, pound the table. And he was doing a lot of table pounding.
He was doing a lot of that. I have so here's a video that I found on Twitter, actually. Where is it? So this is interesting. Did you guys hear about the Rock drama? So when the jury went to the house a couple days ago or whenever.
Oh, what was that? I saw it on Twitter.
Apparently there was a rock at the scene that had the Albert's name and address written on it as if it belonged to the scene. And Bev claims that and then it was gone the next day. That's what I saw, that it was gone the next day. This morning, I guess I missed this. She addressed the rock which is really weird, and it just raises more questions than answers.
So,
I pulled it up if you wanted to look at it and show
Here-
it.
Here's what she's gonna say.
so what the lawyers want me to tell you, what they agree with, is that last Friday, when we were on our view at 34 Fairview, you may have seen an object in the front lawn. It looked like a rock. If you saw that, please disregard it. They want you to know that was not there on January 28th to January 29th, 2022. So
Okay. All right. I guess. But
I
also,
shared what the, if you wanted to show, because it's weird.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
The rock.
nobody knows.
Yeah. Let's pull
Nobody
it up.
knows how it got there or like.
I have to remove this first. There we go. Yeah, and it looks like it has a blood stain on it.
Hmm.
Right.
I mean, why was it there, and who put it there?
The mutant Easter rock.
It's so strange.
It's terrible.
It's weird.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense. Why would the new homeowners have a rock with the old homeowners' names on it?
No, so that somebody put it there. Somebody definitely put it there.
Yeah, but I wonder, like, there's got to be some kind of footage. Somebody's ring camera must have caught that. Who took it away?
Right?
Very strange. Very, very strange.
Huh.
All
I
right,
don't
so
remember that from last time.
I don't either. I don't remember ever seeing
It wasn't
rock.
there last time. It definitely wasn't there last time.
It's very strange. Court is not back yet. No. Well, wait. Let me skip forward a little. Oh, yeah, they are back. Hold on.
Hmm.
Come on, Megan.
I have to share this again.
And the experts.
We'll go back.
It is
so you
difficult to
can hear it.
believe that all
We'll go back, and then we can make him go in fast forward because, who wants? Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do the spinning wheel thing. No.
Just keep going back.
There we
and
go.
I'll hear you.
Your Honor, in light of yesterday's hearing with the ARCA witnesses, the Commonwealth is going to ask the court to preclude the ARCA
Of course you
witnesses
are.
from testifying both about any new testing and any new opinions, and secondly, from testifying about their original opinions turned over in a report prior to last year's trial. To be brief, what we learned or confirmed is that we do not have all of the discovery of communications. There was a court order for the ARCA witnesses to provide Your Honor with all
Yeah,
of their
'cause they
information.
ruined this case,
Phone
that's
records,
right.
text messages, communications about this case. Instead of providing their information to the court, they instead chose to send it to the defense, and then it was summarized and provided by the defense to the court and to the Commonwealth. It appears
I
to
hate
me
this
that it's
guy.
not in compliance with the court's
Me
order.
too.
What we learned during the hearing yesterday is that Dr. Wolf admittedly destroyed over 100 text messages. Now, he mentioned
That he wasn't under
he
obligation to
obtained
keep
phone carriers,
before
the
but
order.
later admitted that he actually intentionally, for no apparent reason, destroyed the text messages.
I
in this
delete
case.
text messages all the
And so
time.
what is left for Your
Every
Honor
30
to look
days.
at is a summary of phone records
They're all
from
gone.
the defense and ARCA's information that is passed through the defense to the court. You do not have the text messages. You do not have the content of the text messages. There is no
Especially if it's not
summary
personal.
of the conversations. Dozens and dozens
Otherwise,
of
it just
calls
takes up your
between the
memory.
defense and the experts. It is difficult to believe that all of those text messages and all of those phone conversations dealt with simply logistics. In fact, we later learned during the questioning of Dr. Renschler, there is much more involved than simply logistics. But to get back to Dr. Wolf, he did not disclose to the court that he was
That's Crash
communicating
Daddy.
and having conversations on Signal. How odd. An expert using Signal. Never used it before. Dr. Renschler said would not use Signal, never use Signal. But Signal, as we know, is an application that does not create a record of communications.
Lots of
Dr. Wolf
people use
maintained
Signal.
on his direct that everything he did was logistics, even when we showed him the direct examinations with comments that asked for input from the defense. to questions in a way that would be advantageous to the defense and to thwart the Commonwealth, Dr. Wolf actually still continued to testify that that was simply procedure and logistics, never admitting the fact that there was, in fact, conversations or information exchange about bettering the presentation for the defense. Inevitably, I asked him about the sequestration order and how evasive he was. You simply have to, who was quite candid. An hour or 45 minutes with Dr. Wolf, difficult getting a straight answer. Dr. Rentschler told us more in 5 minutes than Dr. Wolf told us his
Dang
entire
it,
examination.
keeps moving.
And what we unfortunately learned
Stop moving.
is that during the trial,
There we go.
this court had a
There you go.
sequestration order.
Yeah.
Information was being passed to the experts about witness testimony in this case, unknown to the Commonwealth, unknown to the court. Information, particular information, not general information, witness testimony,
Damn it.
issues in the
Hank.
case. We have no idea who is deciding or identifying the issues and who the advantage is given to in describing those issues. But that is witnesses being prepped through an intermediary. So we know the Department of Justice is violating the order,
It keeps
helping the
moving.
witnesses along. And then
No.
they testify unbeknownst to the Commonwealth that they have this information, but obviously is reflected in the testimony. In addition, I provided some clips to Your Honor for review.
Yes, do you want me to mark these as an exhibit?
I do.
Okay, so this was an exhibit from yesterday.
Oh, the nose came back. I don't know how that happened.
I did have the opportunity to look at them.
I suggest that the relationship was not resigned to mere logistics.
Why does he
And
keep
so
popping back
from
up?
that subterfuge, what we stand with today is that we know that the witnesses were well prepared. We know that there was not.
Aren't witnesses supposed to be prepared?
And what we know
Yeah.
is that they are refusing to provide the necessary information to support their original opinions that they gave at the first trial. They cited that it was a protective order. Perhaps it is. That has nothing to do with the issue. By calling the ARCA witnesses as their witnesses, they then
Orange
have
would
the
be fine.
obligation to comply with Rule 14. Unlike the first trial, where the Commonwealth had no ability to do any testing, review, vet the reliability of the information, properly prepare for
They're
cross-examination.
responding to your
This
report,
trial,
dummy.
that should not occur. Just because it happened last trial
He
and the
keeps
Commonwealth
moving.
was disadvantaged does not mean it should happen this trial. And that is precisely
There we
why
go.
I began moving for discovery in this
Yep.
case
A
early
little bit
on.
further. Come forward. A
Inevitably, if
little bit
these
more.
witnesses
Little-
cannot
little bit,
provide
yeah.
information
There we go.
because under
We'll just give him
protective order,
long
it may
horns.
not be the
There we go.
defendant's fault in its inception, but it is their
Like a
problem and
Texas
difficulty because
cow.
they chose to hire the ARCA witnesses. They could have chosen any witnesses they want. Rule 14 is not obviated because they made a strategic decision to call the ARCA witnesses. So now going
Those
into
look
this trial,
terrible.
even
I know, that's why
Dr.
they're
Rentschler
great.
admitted that an
Let's
expert
try
should
again.
have time, in their opinion, a month or more, to review the raw materials. It's not enough simply to have a report, as Attorney Lisi preached during his argument. We should have the opportunity to go through the raw data, the history,
There we
the
go.
videos, determine whether there's any failed testing. We don't have that benefit. And so my position has changed, that those early opinions should
yeah,
not
me
come in
too.
because we have
That's
no
great.
ability to fairly cross-examine. As for the new opinions, the report may not be done till May 7th. We are in the
What
middle
app
of
are
trial.
you using?
That is absolutely
Exceedingly
beautiful.
by the defense, or at least their witnesses. It takes a month to
Oh,
go through the
Pitchfork.
discovery. When I
Right.
filed my motion on the eve of trial that we would be unable to prepare or we would want a continuance in this case, I appreciate why this case wasn't continued. But I knew, given our scheduling, our experts will not be able to look at this material. Our expert is away until after the first week of May.
That's ridiculous.
He is
I love
going
it.
to be testifying shortly after. He will have
What
no
software
ability
is that?
to digest this
It's a
enormous amount of
plugin
materials,
for, I don't know what
vet
it's
whether
called.
it's accurate or not.
It's called
conduct
Draw
tests
on
to combat
Page.
it if he thinks that it's inaccurate or unfair.
For
And so
Chrome.
the
No,
discovery
what am I on?
violations,
Edge.
regardless of the state of mind, are upon the defendant. There is no exception that you used ARCA witnesses. There is no exception that you hired somebody that used to be under a federal protective order. They chose them, and I would suggest it seems strategically. When we noticed we'd have new experts in October, the defense from past experience, and probably other experience, but we know from this case, knows the process. They would have to file a
Oh,
TUI letter and wait
Smoke.
for a response. And yet they waited until February to seek permission, which then extended their permission past February into March, and then they didn't even start the review until late March. And so it's fundamentally unfair. We should not be placed in a position.
Ooh, a
of
spray
cross-examining
brush. Yes,
experts
that's what we
without
need.
the fair ability as
Here we
any
go.
participant, defendant,
The
Commonwealth,
smoke,
any
the
participant would have in
sulfur.
the case to consider and then to rebut. And so for that reason, I ask you to exclude both the new opinions and new testing, and also to exclude the earlier opinions that we will never, at this point, receive the proper discovery with to prepare.
All right, thank you.
It's
Lassie,
following
I
him
only
back
have
to
one
his
question.
chair.
Okay, thank you.
Would you stand, please? You're arguing this, right? This was your motion. So my question is, how do I reconcile the fact that 100 text messages were deleted by counsel? And we heard
Not by
yesterday
counsel.
counsel's preferred method of dealing with Dr. Wolf was via Signal. How do we reconcile that with
Darn it.
the
wrong
Massachusetts
brush.
Rules of Professional Conduct 1.15? I don't see how you reconcile that, where all correspondence related to the matter, whether in physical or electronic form, must be saved for 10 years minimum. How do you reconcile that? How do I reconcile that?
Should I go to
Right,
the
Ellie.
point?
Yeah.
Right there, and I expect a short answer.
The short answer,
Oh,
Your
Jesus.
Honor, is the rule that you're citing has absolutely no applicability to this proceeding for the, can I finish my answer, Your Honor?
Right ahead.
Has no applicability. That rule is intended to be between an attorney and the client. The court has no jurisdiction to enforce that rule.
I agree. I agree. That's a different body, but I'm asking you how I reconcile that when I'm trying to figure this out. Mr. Lessie, you know what? You're going to win this, so why don't you just let me make my ruling? Okay?
Oh, really?
I understand there have been
Interesting.
repeated violations of the reciprocal discovery orders and my orders, repeated and deliberate. But,
What?
and Mr. Brennan, I understand completely the Commonwealth's argument, completely the
But
ambush
she can't
that
prejudice the
has been
defendant.
set upon
like
here.
this.
However, a defendant's right to a fair trial is
Yep.
paramount to everything.
It's appealable
So
if she did it.
I'm going to allow the ARCA witnesses to
Yep,
testify.
you have
I am
to.
going
Wow.
to allow what I expect to be a very robust cross-examination.
Oh,
And
boy.
I'm going to allow them to testify to everything that they said up
Look
until
at Auntie
yesterday.
Bev
So
go.
you'll get the report May 7th. And I know that's late. And if
She
you
didn't
need
even get to-
anything as a result of that being late, I'll hear you on whatever motion you have. But that's where we stand. And I expect counsel to comply with all rulings and rules of the court and all rules of professional conduct, and no more nonsense. Let's just try this case. All right. That's
How
it. I'll
about
see you
if you'd
tomorrow.
say that to the prosecution? They withheld a video evidence from the defendant for 3
Right.
years. They lied about Brian Higgins being videotaped on the phone come on. Where is her outrage for
Wow.
the prosecutorial misconduct in this case? Oh, she had to make this ruling, you guys. If she didn't,
Yeah.
it was going to be a huge appeal. Huge. Reversible error, that one. Not
But
allowing
the
her
fact that-
witnesses.
The fact that she just he didn't even finish his argument. She's like, "You've already won. Like, just
She
let
hates
me
him.
like."
She hates the defense. She hates
Oh.
how long he talks. That's why she's like, I want a short answer. And then finally, like, never mind. You're going to win anyway. Sit down.
Oh, I was gonna say, is that on the bingo card? It is not. I mean,
It'd be
just
funny.
is that? That's
I
not,
didn't
like-
put ARCA. I didn't put ARCA on there. Oh, but I should have put Bev hates defense. I put Bev hates AJ, but she just hates
Yeah, that's
everybody
the
on
one
the
I
defense.
saw.
She hates everybody at on the defense.
Bev yells
yeah,
at
I
defense.
screwed that up. Bev yells at defense. Yes, that we can definitely check off. It was quiet yelling, but yelling nonetheless.
Has Alessi pissed you
Oh,
off?
you can also Brennan snarks. He was very snarky with the with his. I was too busy drawing on him to pay
Who's
attention.
AJ?
Alex
Alan Jackson.
Did she hate Alan Jackson?
She does hate Alan Jackson. I think more than anybody, she hates Alan Jackson. And it's so
but did
clear
she?
to see. No, not today. He didn't speak
Okay.
today, as far as I know. Not this afternoon, anyway, since we've been live. All right, let's hit some super chats because are they done for the day? Are they for sure done?
It looked
or
like it.
Yeah.
I feel like that was probably the end.
yeah, I think that was the end. Oh, it just started to rain. If you're wondering what that noise is, that is very loud rain on a metal roof, but I have my windows open. All right, let's get to some super chats. If any of you have to duck out of here, I understand.
I do. So
all right. Bye, Brad. Thanks for being here.
Bye, Brad.
Death's Angel, thanks for the 5. He made this program, so he's trying to sell it. I think it's BS. Hugs and love to everyone. Don't trust the prosecution. Very good advice there, Death's Angel. Never trust the prosecution. Hey, Joe. Love your legal vices avatar. Thanks for the 5. Thank you for covering this. Breadsticks. Thank you. You're welcome. And I don't know if I'll be back doing it tomorrow or not. I've got other appointments and things with a kid, so I won't be doing it all day, but maybe for a little while. Death's Angel, thanks for the 2. It's most likely it's Jen. She did it last time. I don't know. Billy Nice, thanks for the 10. Fine, twist my arm, why don't you? I appreciate you, Billy. Sticky Widget, thanks for the 10. I'm a joiner, says Sticky. Death's Angel gifted 5 Megan Fox memberships. Welcome to the Fox Den. All of you who got those memberships, congratulations. It's weird here, but it's not a cult. But sometimes we do wear matching leg warmers, and we expect you to do so. We expect you to join in. Mama Bear Leah, thanks for the Canadian 5. First time Karen watcher, forever Hales fan. Doesn't make me a stalker. That's right. I think I have a clip in here that says something like that.
And just because I watch a video or parts of a video doesn't mean I'm a stalker.
Sending some Canadian love to y'all. Blame Jeremy. He's snoring. Maybe it was Jeremy. Gilly Russell, thanks for the $2 super sticker. Appreciate you. Craig Bucalo, thanks for the 10. Tell the truth. It will set you free, or at least Karen. Yeah, none of these people are going to tell the truth. None of them. Caroline B, thanks for the 10. My milk money for the day. No money later, Megan. Well, might happen, but you deserve minimum wage at least. I think we hit minimum wage at least. I think we did. Yeah, we did. We're good. We're good. Ellie fan, thanks for the 10. Her dog stepped on a bee. You got to do the bee
That
face.
was bad acting.
It
That was
wasn't
real
very
bad
good.
acting.
It wasn't
Yeah.
very good. And I think a couple of you said something about Cash App, so I will check.
I mean, if I was on the jury, I would just be grossed out by her constant licking her lips and like her sticky mouth sounds. I would just like, why not make your witness drink some water? Take a minute. Have some water.
I didn't notice it that much. I was too busy being distracted by the heavy breathing. The heavy breathing was really awful for me. That was just terrible. I don't know.
You know, I kind of tune it out. It was kind of just tuned out, and I'm like, I think so used to it with the dogs. It's just like,
Yeah.
There? Can I even hear it?
It's very
For
relaxing.
sure. Well, I'm going to be back here tonight at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be back here on YouTube and on Rumble with Tug. We'll be doing an hour on YouTube. We will probably be reading through the new What the Hales federal amended complaint, the 74-page document, which we will definitely not get all 75 pages read. But then in the second hour, we have Rumble exclusive with ridiculous clips from whatever the hell happened last night. Roz, I actually need to talk to you about that afterwards because you may have some of those that I need. And we will be doing Rumble exclusive. Those of you who pay attention to this program and who are following What the Hales, don't miss out tonight. And figure out how to use Rumble. It's free. You don't have to give them your credit card number. I don't know why people keep telling me this. Rumble, just use your browser and open Rumble. You'll see the link. It'll be in the description. Just use it on your browser if you can't figure out the app, okay? Rumble is fun and it's free. Don't worry about it. It does work. I keep getting people telling me that Rumble doesn't work for me. I can't make Rumble work. And I'm like, I can't help you. I watch Rumble every day.
It's glitchy for me, but
it is. It's glitchy.
It's always glitchy.
I'm not having that problem. I mean, whenever it glitches, I usually just shut the app down and then restart it, and then it's fine.
Or I have to do that every time, and then every time I get an ad, and I'm like,
The ads don't happen on my streams though when they're live, right? It's only afterwards.
No, they happen
live.
They don't happen like during, but like if you go into the stream, you get ads at the start. Like even if you like when I go from YouTube to Rumble, I get an ad.
Right. But then not during the stream. Like once you're in.
No.
Yeah, okay, that's good. That's good because that's annoying. And that's why I always turn it off on YouTube until the stream's over. And speaking of the stream being over, it's over. It was nice to see you guys. And thanks for joining me here. I'm going to play an oldie but a goodie to end the show. Nobody's seen this for a while. See you back here, 8 p.m. tonight. Bye, guys. Oh, and don't forget, go subscribe to Rosalind Duke. Go subscribe to House of Flux. Both of these two ladies are awesome. What do you guys have coming up? Anything coming up soon that people need to know about?
Just video game streams for me. Yep.
Yeah, I've got, I do have Ricada scheduled for Sunday, but he has not confirmed on time. And then, so to me, I don't have him confirmed until he confirms on time.
Yeah. Definitely double check that for sure.
I
All
did
right,
hear
everybody.
I heard back from the Derek Lee Cardello Smith again, and he sent me some documents that he says are authentic.
Interesting. Okay.
So I might go over those. Other than that,
All right, great. Well, make sure that you guys go over to their channels, and mods, if you could drop their channels in the chat, make sure you go and like and subscribe over there because these ladies are awesome. And also IT Goatee Brad. I don't know if he's been streaming lately, but if he has been, he does some fun cooking streams and some walking streams. So go over there and check him out as well. If I can be back for the morning session, I probably will be. I have an afternoon appointment, but I don't know. Well, I'll just keep an eye out on locals, meganfox.locals.com, and that'll let you know where I will be. See you guys.
I was so lost, my world is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices. Oh, and my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna say. No, I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna say goodbye. This time I know my road is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices. And my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye.